believe you are very knowledgeable to help me with this issue.
I'm saying to you, I want to know what authority you're talking from that I'm wrong.
You don't make very loose, vague statements.
Hard copy seeks to lay out the facts so that all Bahamians and Bahamians at heart might understand. It is Tuesday, the 23rd day in the month of June 2015, as you battle the congested city streets and drive home traffic. We have sun and clouds on the outside today, 88 degrees right now, very hot. It feels like 98 on the outside this afternoon in the nation's capital. There's an overnight low of 79 tonight. There's a 40% chance of rain in the forecast. Thank you so much for joining us on the drive home. I'm Steve McKinney. This is Hard Copy. We're brought to you today by the Bank of the Bahamas, the Bank of Solutions, BTC every day, the new Samsung 6, out and now waiting for you to pick it up. Super Value, the All Bahamian Supermarkets, the McKinney Media Group for effective PR concepts and advertisement. Island-made products made especially for you. The Ministry of Tourism's Big Gumbe Summer and Junkanoo Festivals, beginning this month, coming July. AML Foods, Solomon's Fresh Market, and Kosh Right. You shop there, you can win more than $30,000 in trips and vacations this time around. We're also brought to you today by Advantage Insurance and Brokers, 61 Collins Avenue. Super Wash with 11 locations open 24/7. Ron's Electric Motors, they can fix anything. Sky Bahamas, professionals in every way, every day. CFAL, Kalina Financial Advisors Limited. Executive Printers for your laser check prints. Henry F. Store, the Light People on Mackey Street. And Le Bleu Ultra Pure Drinking Water, the official water of Hard Copy. Today on the show, in this special 30 minutes, we're going to talk with some friends of ours and some who, in fact, are getting ready to do something big for the summer. And that's going to be happening very shortly right here in the Bahamas. Of course, today I want to invite and welcome to the show Minister Dino Cartwright. Dino Cartwright is a minister with the Bahamas Baptist Missionary and Educational Convention. He's actually the youth director of National Baptist Youth. And of course, he's also joined today on the show for a few minutes by Pastor Diana Francis. She's the chair of the National Baptist Youth Convention. And I want to say a special good afternoon to both of them this afternoon. How you all doing today?
Good day.
Excellent. So
wonderful. It's good that we have you here. Of course, we do this part as a part of our service to the country. They're getting ready for something major. It's going to involve the youth of the country and young people. And of course, it's under the auspices of the Bahamas National Baptist Convention, Missionary and Educational Convention, that's headed by one William Thompson, who's my colleague up there, Zadanas. He's the chairman of the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas, the executive chairman. And of course, this time is courtesy of the folks from over at Transfiguration Baptist Church, Chicken Thompson and Pastor Stephen Thompson, or is it Bishop Stephen Thompson these days? Anyway, they're the ones who have made sure that we can talk with them for 30 minutes today to give them some much needed boost, shot in the arm. How you doing? What's happening?
What's happening? Thank you so much for this opportunity. And thank you, Transfiguration and Dr. Thompson, for allowing us this opportunity. Summerfest Reloaded is an outreach and evangelistic effort, a thrust for young people from the National Baptist Convention. It was started in the 1970s, straight through to the early 2000s. Then took a brief hiatus, so now it's coming back as Summerfest Reloaded. The Summerfest essentially is a youth conference and a youth summer camp. So during the daytime from 9 to 1, we have empowering topics such as dealing with peer pressure on being cyber safe and being building healthy self-esteem, building healthy relationships, talking about peer pressure, bullying, and then we also have something dealing with leadership and learning entrepreneurial skills. And so that's really dealing with skills training. Then during the night sessions, we have powerful and dynamic, spiritually enlightening and uplifting services. We have Reverend Christina Bethel from Bethel Baptist Church. She's opening us up on tomorrow night. On Thursday night is Apostle Valentina Williams. And Friday night, we have Reverend Al Jackson out of Miami, Florida, who's coming to wrap it all up during the night sessions. That's Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And then on Saturday morning, we have 2 sessions, one especially for males and females. We have Dr. Harrison Thompson and we have Dr. Jamila Jackson. Both of them will be speaking to male and female issues, dealing with personality and how to grow and mature into a healthy young man emotionally, spiritually, physically. Because while they are both therapists and psychiatrists, they're also born again. And so they bring that thrust.
National Baptist Youth Convention, you mentioned it took a hiatus. It's back now. It's very much needed. A lot of people are having a lot of difficulties. A lot of young people have gone astray. We see all kinds of things happening among young people. I'm sure many of them are not Baptists. But the good thing is that you have a number of people who are coming back into the fold. Now, let me ask you this question. How many people are we talking about when you talk about bringing these youngsters together? Have we gone out into the highways and byways and into the ghettos and into these back alleys to find these youngsters who, in fact, need this kind of skills training, this basic how to be mannerly and polite and that kind of stuff? Or are we just talking with your regular, everyday young people who come to church and then they're just gathering? Because the mission and the work, obviously, is to find some people out there who really need some help. Now, I know Pastor Diana Francis, she's been doing this kind of stuff for quite some number of years. And I see the program that she had there at the church down on Mackey Street. The Earl, she's the Earl's daughter.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Margaret,
yeah, she's the Earl's, you know. Remember the Earl, my good friend? He's gone on to glory now.
Yes, sir.
And of course, we talk about Pastor Earl Francis, a one-time hotelier who had his own hotel in Grantstown. Yeah, businessman. And of course, we miss him dearly. And the thing about it is the fact that I'm saying that you've been doing this kind of work while we know that this Summerfest is coming up and it's going to happen between June 24th and 27th. There's an urgent need. Talk to me about the urgent need as to why this is important, why Reverend Thompson, both them, Stephen Thompson and Bishop William Thompson, are insisting that you get some prime time to tell people about this. I'm sure they would not have looked for prime time on hard copy if, in fact, you didn't have this big mission to go out there and find some people to bring them into the fold, because a lot of things are going bad. Speak to that for me, Pastor Diane.
Thanks very
Francis.
much. Dr. McKinney, I'm certainly honored to be here, and you have a good setup here. Congratulations.
Thank you, kindly.
Youth are so critical to the development of the world. As a matter of fact, presently, there are 1.8 billion young people on the planet between the ages of 15 to 24, and this is the largest population of young people that we have ever seen in the world. Secondly, I think they probably make up about 53% of the population of the Bahamas. In the next 10 years or so, they're going to create a part of our workforce, and if we don't grasp them at this age now, we are going to be in a serious national crisis. We are already in a national crisis. So imagine in the next 10 years, if we don't begin to pull some things together, you know, and I believe in shifting gears. I believe that insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting something different. Freud said, if you want something different, you must do something different. And I believe that there are systems that need to be checked, and there are systems that need to be piloted to reach out, like you say, to the highways, to the byways, to the unchurched. There are a whole lot of them out there. And so we have to begin to shift gears to see how we can get there. One of the things we would have endeavored to do in this upcoming Summerfest Reloaded is to reach out to guidance counselors and to have them to pull at least 4 to 5 at-risk kids out of their schools.
Tremendous. That's good.
That can be a part of this experience. And of course, our radical and vibrant director, Brother Cartwright, would have secured scholarships for these students. So, you know, we're saying to guidance counselors, send the kids out. You know, we know school would have come to closure. And so this is critical. We need to reach out to our at-risk kids, and those are the ones you're talking about.
Now, let me ask you, how difficult is it, though, Minister Cartwright? You know, it is a difficult thing in my mind when we have the conditions that we do have in the country. It's not anyone's fault, in particular in the church. The church has been doing a tremendous job, I think. Some people think in a different manner. But be that as it may, how difficult is it to galvanize, to put together these programs? Because a lot of people would tell you, you know, not to discourage you, but a lot of people would say, these things are just some happenings that happen, but they don't have the kind of impetus to make a difference and to make a change. What makes your Summerfest different from any other little summer something that somebody may be having? What's the real focus of goal here? Because we got too many kids who are missing out. They're losing. It doesn't seem like too many people are catering to them, listening to them, wanting to hear their needs, listening to their ambitions. And then again, many of them are frustrated because the system is clogged with people who should really be out of the way, and they should be now to the forefront. And so I'm saying, How difficult is it to galvanize when you're dealing with frustration? You're dealing with people who are hungry and hurting. You're dealing with people who have bad attitudes because they're poorly educated. You're dealing with a lot of youngsters who, in fact, have been disenfranchised, marginalized, and all the negative things that we see because our young people really need a boost. How difficult is it to galvanize and to get the kind of support from community, from government, from associated churches, from those who are supposed to be caretakers of these wards of the state, young people?
There are difficulties that we face even with planning Summerfest, because there's always this program, that program that's already been in place, and now people are now more or less disillusioned as to the focus of this program. But Summerfest, the difference with Summerfest than any other program is that Summerfest adds that spiritual impact and it marries it with the social training that a lot of our young people would need. And they would need to know not just about that Jesus saves, but they are getting practical, pragmatic information on how to apply this to their daily life. And so Summerfest itself is dealing with this. And Summerfest, we are viewing it as sowing seed, because even the Bible tells us that when we train up a child in the way they should go, even if they stray, they will not depart from it, or they will not leave it afar. So Summerfest is really sowing that seed into the lives of these young people, even before the influences of the entire summer would have come around. So before they get idle, before they get all of this, they will have that seed that is sown into them from these various programs. And so while there is, of course, negativity and difficulty that comes with any new thrust or anything positive, we are well able to overcome whatever comes against us, because we believe in what Summerfest did. Summerfest actually, from the 70s and 80s, helped to rear a number of the politicians, preachers, and those who are adding positively to society today. They look back at Summerfest and see how it's planted in them what they need and that they are using today.
Now you're going across the entire country. You're not looking at just those people who may have affiliation with the Baptist churches or with the Bahamas Missionary Baptist and Educational Convention, because you hear that name, Bahamas Baptist Missionary Educational Convention. And I know Dr. William Thompson has been doing a wonderful job with it over the years. When I participated many years ago in the earlier versions of Summerfest on Blue Hill Road, when Blue Hill Road was two-way, going that way and this way, at the actual headquarters there, and the basketball court by St. Barnabas next door that they kind of like worked with. It was good. A lot of young kids from around the Fort Charlotte, Chippingham area attended from around the Prairie, because there were things that happened there that we were interested in. And I note here that I see a lot of people coming to speak and to get their groove on. I see you got some wonderful ones like Christy Bethel and Reverend Alfonso J. Jackson out of Miami, and of course, even Dr. Harrison Thompson and many others. But the sporting element that keeps people interested. You are now in a difficult time. In the 70s, my brother, you're a young man, let me tell you, in the 70s, we didn't have to compete with not even television, not Nassau. We hardly had television, poor children like us. And we didn't have to compete with cable TV. We didn't have to compete with Nintendo. We didn't have to compete with the cell phones and all these things that people are now really caught up with, Facebook and the rest of it. You've got to compete with that. You've got to get kids out. And I'm saying your sporting component, I'm wondering about it. Is there something over this period of time, because sports build character, it brings people along. It worked for me and it worked for a lot of my friends. And I'm just wondering what else is there in it apart from the speaking engagements and of course the camaraderie and the sessions of training and all that, so you can get some kids out of what I call the ghetto, the inner city, to come and, you know, throw some hoops down, that kind of a thing. I'm just asking, because even if you don't have it this time, maybe it's something that you're going to do next time, since you're coming back from this long hiatus.
Yes, what we're doing is that along with Summerfest, we also have the Bahamas Sports Council that deals with track and field, basketball, and all of that. And we have married that along with our evangelistic thrust. And so apart from Summerfest, there's a year-long program that is thrusted by the National Baptist Convention, which is the Baptist Sports Council, that we'll be using to attach to this, because this will be our feeder program. When we would have registered these young people, this would be our feeder program to build our sports component. Because over the years, we've had Minister Brent Stubb, who's been leading our Baptist Sports Council for a number of years. And
this is Brent from the Tribune?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. He's been leading that. And so what happens is that we're going to be marrying Summerfest. And now you're asking also what's going to happen for our kids on Friday, especially. It's more team building activities. So that's where we'll incorporate the sporting activities. That's where we'll incorporate the various activities where our children can now build teams, build camaraderie, and do all of that. And then we also have Derek and Charlie, the Yellow Baby, will be coming to add that flavor to Summerfest. So it's not just classes. There'll be time when we take breaks, and even in our classes, we will have various opportunities where the participants will be able to win prizes, and where they'll be able to have teams built together and to kind of have friendly competition in order to release themselves from this, because we don't want them to feel like they're still in school.
Yeah.
And so while they're getting the education, we also have various components built within the programs itself that adds the sporting factor, and that adds the cultural factor and the art factor.
So what about the participating churches now? The Baptist Convention, the Bahamas Baptist Missionary and Educational Convention, has always been a very powerful force. One time ago, the numbers used to be somewhere around about 88,000. I'm sure it's increased tremendously now. It's probably close to 100 and some, or 200, close to 200,000 people strong. So it's a very important organization and one of great influence. So what are these? I see New Covenant's a part of it. What about, at least I see where they have mentioned that there's going to be activity there. These participating Baptist churches, how important is that? How important is that toward the youth programs that they may be trying to cultivate under the auspices of the Bahamas Missionary Educational Baptist Convention?
Well, we have some almost 40 churches that are part of our convention presently, give or take one or two. And so it's critical that, like I said earlier, that we nurture the next generation. And sometimes it's also critical that pastoral leadership sees the need to reach out and embrace the next generation. One of the things that the National Baptist Youth Department would have done in March was have a training segment for all youth leaders of the National Baptist Convention, bringing them together, giving them skills, and pulling on the better resources of persons who would have been out there to help them to sharpen their youth ministries, things about mentorship, and is youth ministry for me, and that kind of thing. So it's critical that we be passionate, but at the same time that we be skilled, and that we bait the next generation. They need to be baited. Jesus said, I will make you fishers of men, and we need to be taught how to catch the fish of youth. You understand? So it's critical that pastors see the need to embrace the next generation, give opportunities for them to be used, give platforms for them to come forward. And you said it already, the frustration sometimes exists because there are persons standing in the way, staying on the tree, getting ripe and ripe and ripe when the season of someone else is coming on stream. So succession is another critical issue that comes into play. And that's why ministry to young people is so critical, because when Moses died, Joshua was in place. When the earl passed on, ... I don't need to say nothing else. So succession, that passing of the baton, the passing of the mantle, the rearing and the grooming of the next generation of the Joshuas to prepare them to be future leaders.
Pastor Francis, I've been looking at the landscape in recent times, and I notice that there are any number of churches now that are involved in what I call the graying factor. In fact, the entire country is. There are people in the politics, there are people in the governance who are now looking seriously at the succession planning in a realistic way, because it has fallen upon them now. It's like all of a sudden, oh, we've got to find some other people to do some things. I've noticed the same thing that exists in the churches of the Bahamas. In the churches like the Baptist churches, those churches that have supposedly succession planning, but sometimes the youth who are coming up are getting a little bit too antsy to get on that pulpit. And I don't want to call any names, but I notice a number of churches have the son or the daughter. In your case, it was the daughter,
right,
the earl getting things ready. And that had a smooth transition from what it's supposed to be, even though there may have been controversy with some other people. But the point is, there was succession planning. I see a number of churches right now have, like, certain pastors and bishops, their sons are ready to take over, and many of them are not ready to retire. And I'm not trying to say that you should push them out of the way, but I'm saying, how serious is this outlook on succession planning for the next generation of children? Because we have to be realistic. There is the grading factor. everybody else who's been there for a long time are getting old, and supposedly they'll be off the scene in some time not so long. But how is that? How is the coexistence? How is the cooperation happening across the landscape, if you get my drift? So I don't want to get into any particular thing, but I notice it in several big churches that this is the situation that some other people are ready to get in there and lead. Does that cause friction? Does it make people not believe that the men who are now there in charge, or even women, that their time has come and gone, and people are more exuberant to get in there and are quite not ready by the minds of the older ones? What is happening with that? Because I see that too as a part of the discouragement of, let's say, a young minister like a Cartwright. Not that this fits him, but he's a young minister. Let's just say that he was in a hypothetical situation where he was ready, but others were not ready for him to be ready. And so he becomes frustrated. Is that the reason? The other part of the question is that the reason why we have these multiplicity of churches, and we've got so many small churches in this country now that you can't count them? I'm just wondering.
I would think so. I would think so. I would say that one of the key lessons that one must learn is the importance of submission to authority, particularly from a church arena, from a spiritual aspect. When you talk about leadership, the importance of submission to authority, you have to be able to come under your leadership. You cannot go over your leadership, because at the end of the day, God always honors leadership. And they talk about the anointing or the power of God. It always flows from the head down. So it's critical that even if you're in a holding pattern and you felt like you were there for a very long time, it's critical that you hold your ground. It could be the Lord testing your character, your ability to be able to know that you're ready, okay, but still be able to until the set time of release. And I would say to anybody in that position to just be prayerful about it, to be submissive to authority, and to wait for that set time, unless you hear from the Lord. Secondly, persons who are taking on succession, particularly in spiritual aspects, must be called of God. You cannot take on the leadership of any organization unless you feel an innate call of God to do so. The call comes with the ability, it comes with the empowerment, it comes with the grace to be able to endure the hardships that come with the office. And so I would say, make sure you are called to any level of succession. You understand me? Because it's not just something that a person dreams about. I want my child. No, you have to be called. You understand? I sensed a call, and so, yeah.
Yeah, that's a lot of stuff that you told me just now. What about your thoughts on that matter? Because I'm sure you've got colleagues who are young as you are, or perhaps a little older, and there's this conversation all the time. How do we inculcate into this new bunch that you have now with Summerfest, and there'll be some youth pastors there who will get a chance to shine? How do you, I suppose, counsel and advise and admonish them that they should do exactly what the pastor said? That you've got to be called and wait your turn, because in essence, that's what everybody else is saying. You'll eventually get there. You don't want to get there when you're too late in grading too, but you'll eventually get there. How does that fit in the mix of what we're talking about? Because you see, the truth is, people want to be a part of something wholesome, a good organization, a good church family, but they've got to be encouraged that there's room in the inn for them.
I agree with everything that Pastor Francis would have said, because like you said, a number of my contemporaries are preaching and they believe that they are called. But what I want to also remind them, as Pastor Francis said, the gift to preach doesn't necessarily mean that you have the call to pastor.
Very true.
Because the thing is, and that's where you have to now discern exactly what your calling is, because there are persons who are gifted to prophesy, but not every prophet means that you're a pastor. Because there is a certain grace that God gives you for endurance, because you have to indeed nurture his sheep. You have to indeed have long suffering in dealing with his sheep. And so what happens now is that I encourage my fellow young men and young women who are preachers today, is that when you sit under the man or woman of God long enough, you will know when it's time for the mantle to be passed. You will know that even the Bible puts it like this: in the fullness of time, God perchance has you sitting under that leadership so that you can learn from them, whether it's the good from them or the bad from them. You will learn, and God at this time is now developing and nurturing you, because God has everything planned. We often say, and we often preach, that the Lord says, I know the plans I have for you, plans to prosper you, to give future hope and expected end. when God has a plan for your life, God will do what he has to do to ensure that you fulfill his purpose. If he has to move you out of the way, move somebody else out of the way, or do all of that, the key, Mr. McKinney, is that we have to learn how to endure. We have to learn how to have patience. I've sat under my pastor, Reverend Bishop Victor Cooper, for the past 10 plus years under his leadership, and I have no kind of rush to lead, because it's not because I don't sense that there's a call in my life to lead or to pastor, but the thing is, I'm learning and grasping and gleaning everything that I can from the man of God. And when his time is done, then and he often says this, seasons change.
So we have a good the next crop of pastors in the Bahamas, the next grouping in your age bracket. We have a good group coming up. We're not short on who will continue the work. That's what I'm saying. We're not short on that now. We have a good group. The next group.
I would say that we do have a good group.
You look like you're hesitant on that.
I would say, because I was trying to really get everything and say the right words, right way. The thing is, we have a good group. My contention with that is that this group too needs has to learn how to be trained, how to sit under leadership. And so that's what I'm saying though. And so my pastor even always says, I know you got the burning, but get the learning to go to go with it. And so and that is critical, because while you have that desire, that passion, and that fervor to lead, it takes more than just preaching and lead the church.
No question.
And so I believe that we have an awesome crop of passionate persons, an awesome crop of persons who have the fire of God in them. It's just sitting long enough to be cultivated. So
the future looks good. It's promising.
The future looks good.
We're going to be fine, because this is a preaching country. This is a country of great men of God who have helped to steer the country in the right direction. And we think of so many of them who passed on, from Reverend Dr. H.W. Brown to even the Earl, to even Mr. Colebrook, Reverend Colebrook, Ari Cooper Sr. There's so many of them who would have done a tremendous job over the years. And we see a new group now dealing with that, and their time is coming to the point where there are others who are training under them. And so that's why I asked the question, because overall, it is my duty to find out what's happening next for young people in this country, because we are a young country. You talked about the statistics about all of the percentage of young people who make up these populations. In our country, we see a high percentage of perhaps 70 to 80 plus of young people right now who are waiting their turn. And that's why the graying factor is on, and we've got to now make ready for succession planning and everything, and all the programs that we have in the church, in the politics, in the governance, in civil society, because no one lasts forever and no man is an island. So you all are doing a fantastic job. I hope that things work out in your best interest. The 24th to the 27th of this month, June, you start those sessions. Run it by us one more time, your daily sessions, your nightly sessions. Okay.
It starts tomorrow, the 24th, at 9 a.m. at New Covenant, and the evening sessions also are at 7 p.m. at New Covenant. We want to push and let persons know that the sessions are free. Okay, the sessions are free. God has favored us in giving us sponsorship for our young people.
There you go.
And so the sessions are free. We are offering breakfast and lunch for our participants as well as a package for them to go home with something in their hand to know that they've been impacted by Summerfest. The night sessions, we said, are free. So day and night sessions, 9 to 1 p.m. every day, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. We also want parents to know that, I know it may be a hassle getting to the highway in the morning time. So we'll have a bus at the Oaksfield Shopping Center, and we'll also have a bus at the shopping center that Super Value is located in on Carmichael Road, where Super Value, Wendy's, Domino's, that plaza there, opposite Southwest Plaza. Opposite Southwest Plaza, the bus leaves at 7:30 a.m. The bus leaves at 7:30 a.m. from both locations to get young people at New Covenant for 8 a.m. for breakfast. We want to ensure that they get fed spiritually as well as they get fed physically. And then the night sessions are free, 7 p.m. every night at New Covenant. On Saturday morning, the session will be at the William Thompson Auditorium on Jane Street. But Saturday night, we return at New Covenant for our grand concert with Denzel Roland Friends, Tabernacle Concert Choir. We'll have Trent Davis, a new voice. We'll have dancers and mimers and psalmists And so that's how we're going to close out, as they normally did with Summerfest, with a grand concert. And we'll also have a drama running straight through for the 3 nights. We also have singers, dancers that are
The
coming to
whole
bless
9
us.
yards. You've
Yes, sir.
got a lot of things planned, and we wish you every success.
Thank you
Thank
so
you so
much.
Yeah,
much.
so we've had today here on the show Minister Dino Cartwright, who's the director of the National Baptist Youth Convention, and his chair, Pastor Diana Francis. She's the chair of the National Baptist Youth Convention, and they've been drumming up some support here on Hard Copy today. So maybe you'll let your kids go to that, or maybe you'll take them to that, because we need to shore up our young people and keep them off the streets and teach them that violence does not pay, and teach them that a good education is always the ticket, and teach them some skills, because our young people are in trouble, and many of them are not even working. Some are not employable because of lack of skills, and many are not working because of lack of jobs. There's a high percentage right now of about 31% at the last check of the Department of Statistics of young people who are not working. So we appreciate the fact of this wonderful thing that the Bahamas Baptist Missionary and Education Convention is doing, and we want to thank them very much for their hard work. I think we've got the Minister of Youth, Sports, and Culture on the telephone line who wants to say a little something, I suppose. Danny Johnson. Minister, good afternoon. How are you?
Hello, Brother Steve. How are you doing?
Peace and love. All is well with me. How are you?
Fantastic, man. Fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
I just wanted to call in and congratulate Reverend Cartwright there and the Baptist Missionary and Educational Convention
Yes.
on this summer fest that they've always done. I think they're getting better and better. I want the public to know that they have our full support. One of the things, we always talk about kids with their academics, kids with athletics, kids with, we get to the mind and body part, but we forgot there's a soul and there's a spirit to everything that we do. And we got to congratulate and partner with the church for doing their part over the years. And I want Dino to know I will have my children out there tomorrow with myself.
Very good.
And accounted for.
Very good.
Also a proud Baptist.
I appreciate it.
Amen.
Thank you very kindly.
Keep up the good work, man. Keep
All the
up the
best.
good work.
Very
Thank
good.
you.
Thank you very much, Minister. Minister of Youth, Sports, and Culture, Dr. Daniel Johnson, podiatrist by profession, and of course, one who has done a tremendous job with young people himself. You see the many things that we have happening at the stadium and the many big events that's coming to the country. It's bringing us along. We're getting to the 21st century in our attitude and our hosting and the way that we do things. And this has always been good. This part reminds me of how we did things in the 70s and the early 80s before we got sidetracked with a number of things. So all the things coming together to make us feel good is always a good thing. I appreciate it. And I thank you for coming today, and thank Bishop William Thompson and Bishop Stephen Thompson and Deacon Colin Thompson. All the Thompsons accounted for. Say, hey. Thank you very kindly. Let's run now. We've got to run to a break. When we come back here this afternoon on Hard Copy, we're going to be talking with a young man who is not getting ready for the Bahamas Baptist Missionary and Educational Convention's Summerfest. He is basically getting ready to see how he could recoup over $1 million after getting involved in big business that didn't pay off in a big way in a country that he thought was big on looking after the needs of Bahamians across the board, especially Bahamian investors. Tony Miller, former member of the Free National Movement, former member of Parliament for Eleuthera, South Eleuthera, joins me next on the show this afternoon. We roll along in just a minute. This is Hard Copy.
Next is Now with the new Samsung Galaxy 6, now available at BTC. Stunning form meets breathtaking innovation and sophisticated design. The first ever smartphone with self-charging capabilities, so you don't need to plug it in. Get ready to discover the next Galaxy, another first from BTC.
AML Foods, Solomon's, Cartwright, and Fresh Market have teamed up to give shoppers the biggest opportunity ever to travel the world. Shop Solomon's, Cartwright, and Fresh Market in Nassau and Freeport and enter to win over $30,000 in trips during the travel extravaganza. Purchase these brands: Shaman, Robin Hood, McVitie's, Pepperidge Farm, Vitamalt, Livy's, Sun Supreme, Coca-Cola, Bluebird, Mahatma, Hellman's, Cloric Flash, Pedigree, Suave, and Joy. Buy any four in a single purchase and win over $30,000 in trips and vacations. Shop Solomon's, Cartwright, and Fresh Markets and win big.
Do you feel trapped and unable to move because of debt? Are you trying to meet your monthly obligations but still falling behind? Then what you need is a fresh start. BOB's Fresh Start Debt Consolidation Loan will combine your existing debts into one easy monthly payment, restoring your financial freedom and getting you back on track with a built-in savings plan. Talk to us today about your BOB Fresh Start Debt Consolidation Loan. BOB, your bank of solutions.
What's hotter than summertime in the Bahamas? A Junkanoo and Goombay summer in the Bahamas. Get ready for one sizzling summer with two exciting street festivals. First up is Junkanoo Summer Festival every Saturday in July. Come see your favorite Junkanoo groups face off at Arawak Key. And while you're there, enjoy mouth-watering Bahamian cuisine and entertainment. The heat continues into August with the return of the Goombay Summer Festival. Yes, you heard right. Goombay is back. Join us every Friday in August at Arawak Key for live Bahamian music, delicious local cuisine, authentically Bahamian arts and crafts, and lots of games and entertainment. Junkanoo Summer Festival and Goombay Summer Festival, brought to you by the Ministry of Tourism. See you every Saturday in July and every Friday in August. Visit bahamas.com/summerfestivals for more details.
Anna, Bill, Grace, Rose, Larry, Mindy, scary names they are not, unless they become a tropical storm or a hurricane. And if they do, nobody prepares you better than Super Value and Quality Supermarkets. Par Excellence, Par Bar Rice, 5-pound buy, $2.99. Chef Boyardee Spaghetti and Meatballs, 15-ounce can, 2 for $3. Hunt's Ketchup, 35-ounce bottle, $1.89. Ocean Spray, 100% cranberry juice, 60-ounce size, $4.99. Chicken leg quarters, 10-pound buy, 89 cents per pound. Shop Super Value and Quality Supermarkets.
At Henry F. Store Electric Company, we supply all your electric needs for any size project, from residential housing to luxury hotels. We can help you achieve just the right look, from doorbells to chandeliers, table lamps to ceiling fans, wire, conduit, panels, dimmers, switches, plugs, and even tools. And don't forget light bulbs. We have those hard-to-find, energy-saving fluorescent bulbs and more. Henry F. Store Electric, number 135 Mackey Street. Over 50 years of reliability, service, and low prices. We also ship to the Family Islands.
The best insurance in town is Advantage Insurance on Collins Avenue. They are simply the best because they provide easy, affordable insurance rates for home, car, business, or whatever is valuable or important to you. Advantage Insurance and Brokers, 61 Collins Avenue, is the fastest, most progressive insurance company in the Bahamas because they really take care of you by making insurance totally affordable. Call them now at 356-0285 or 6, or email them at info@advantagebahamas.com.
Oh, I love my island. Oh, my island mate. Oh, I love my island. My island mate. Oh, I love my island.
Island Made, locally produced products here in the Bahamas and available for purchase. For more information about our products, give us a call at 362-1102 or 362-1113. Island Made Brands, located in the Bacardi Plans, encouraging you to buy Bahamian and support local entrepreneurship.
My island mate. We got in the country, that's my island mate.
At Ron's Electric Motors, they repair and rewind all major brands of electric motors, including water pumps, generators, and the generator's back end, welding machines, electric lifts, air compressors, battery chargers, and more. They're equipped to handle up to 850 kilowatts and rewind up to 450 horsepower motors. They're conveniently located on the corner of Wolf and Clarence Roads and are open weekdays 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., Saturdays till noon. They offer 24 hours emergency assistance. You can reach them at 242-356-0249.
There's no other talk show Like the show, if it's 5 o'clock, it's hard copy.
Welcome now to Hard Copy, the main event here today on the show, because a lot of things are happening that some Bahamians are not so pleased with. And my special guest this afternoon is the one and only Anthony Miller. He's been to the show before. He really needs no introduction, but just for the record, Mr. Miller is a banker by profession, really. He's a professional banker. He ran things at Citibank for quite a number of years as one of the main key players in the financial world. But he's also been a very enterprising businessman. He's been a member of parliament in the Hubert Ingraham administration as the member of parliament for South Eleuthera. And he's very likable, still a young man who has done a number of things. He's also been the executive chairman of Bahamas Air. He's held a number of, so we're not talking about anybody who don't know his way around. We're talking about somebody who has gone into his own private business in the fact of that he's been trying to help many Bahamians in the medical field. A lot of people need to have scans and MIRs or MRIs done, that kind of stuff. He built a company in Cable Beach, actually in Sandy Port. It's called Integra MRI, and it's really a world-class facility. Trouble is, though, he's with me today because he is one of many local Bahamian businessmen who have had a rough time in trying to start up businesses in this country or sustain businesses in this country because of the attitude of the business environment and climate at the government red taping area. And I'm sure you've heard this before. He is one of many local Bahamian businessmen who would have put their hands in their pockets, invested up to millions of dollars, and have not been able to cash in on any major investment because of the do little, do nothing at all, laissez-faire attitude approach in the governance of the country, not from a political end or a legislative end, but certainly from a management end. This is a big problem. So today he is like an example of so many other people who are going through the same thing. And I thought that we should talk about it from a point of view of how do we get business people in this country who are Bahamians to be able to invest and to have the kind of assistance and the kind of push from those who manage the country in these various areas where the paperwork is moving so slow that investors who co-sign with them or who are a part of what they're doing pick up boots and leave town. This is the case. Now, before I introduce Tony further and have him say hello, I want to set this tone because the truth is we see that businesses in the Bahamas have suffered. I want the business community to pay attention today because maybe you can lend some assistance to how we ought to get these guys head on right. And I want to put it that way. We've got to get their heads on right and let them know that at the end of the day, we too are Bahamians who want to invest and see things happen in our country because we want to build the country through our various businesses that we have. We've seen in recent times Jiffy Quality Cleaners closed down. We've seen any number of other laundromats closed down. We have seen Spotless and all these people, and that may be because of competition, that things happen differently now in the country for various reasons. But some have been because of the change of the roads. It's something as simple as that. Sometimes we take for granted that, oh, we're getting modernized, we're changing roads. It has been a terrible thing for a lot of businesses. People have not been able to make it. Many stores have closed down on Market Street. Many stores have closed down on Blue Hill Road. Blue Hill Meat Mart. I'm driving along the other day thinking I'm going to pull right across and get me some trotters. You know what trotters are, right? It's pig feet. I'm going to make some trotters and some bean and steam that down and fix that up. And I'm pulling to the side and I see everything. And I say, well, no one told me. Yeah, it's closed down. Why? Because of the road changes. What am I saying here? We have got to start thinking for our people. Are we doing it? The truth is, those are conditions. Some people say they buy products of development. But where are these people going to be replaced? Lots of people are losing jobs because lots of local businesses are closing down. And they're closing down because business is not good because of conditions that have been imposed upon them by those who make the rules and that kind of stuff. So we have that. And then we have this scenario where they've told us, well, you know, Bahamians, they say, and this came from the days of Lyndon Binling. I remember a speech that he read, he talked about how Bahamians hoard their money. They don't invest. And that may have been the case, and perhaps still is the case in some areas, that Bahamians hoard money. They don't invest. They want to just sit on it. Well, we see some hotels that we now have that's now the jewel of the Caribbean, Sandals and Breezes. And we had an opportunity to buy those things first crack. But Bahamians didn't invest in it because maybe they're all too familiar with the kind of lagging along of trying to get things done. It's a nightmare, especially for Bahamian business persons. Tony Miller, who has decided to spend his few pennies on this Integra MRI, which is a crown jewel of the West here in New Providence. It has helped so many people with scans and all kinds of things. It has cut down the cost of medical expenses for people going to Florida and all places when they can do it right there. World-class facility. But he got stuck in the rut because he needed some things done, and the paperwork turned so slowly that Mr. Miller ended up basically losing an investment of more than $1 million of something that he thought was a good thing to do, and people appreciated the service. Now, why did that happen? That's the crux of the matter. We want to get to that today, not only to look at his particular unique circumstances, but this perhaps is typical. This is symptomatic of, this is really the example of what is happening throughout the business environment in our country today for Bahamians who want to get into business, stay into business, and to be successful in business. Mr. Miller, good afternoon. How are you?
Steve, well, thank you very much. I'm very pleased to be on your show today.
Absolutely. Well, listen, what's the problem?
Well, Steve, you know why I believe my voice must be heard. And here's why I believe my voice must be heard relative to business. Firstly, I want to say to your listening audience that I come today with no colors. I come today with no label on me in terms of politics, etc. I come today as an entrepreneur, a Bahamian who believe in the Bahamas. Like most Bahamians who invest their hard-earned money in our country, we believe in the Bahamas. That's why we did it. That's why we invest. And the reason why I think my voice is so relevant and so important is that I know the players. My name is Anthony Miller. I ran in 1987. I'm a public figure. I was elected in 1992, and I was a member of parliament for 2 terms. And so I believe that has some degree of relevance.
Of course, it is relevant because you know the situation.
And I know the players. Mm-hmm. I know the authority. When I said in Parliament, I remember the Right Honorable Perry Gladstone Christie, the now Prime Minister. He was in opposition. And he is descended, obviously, from the settlement of Tappan Bay, one of the settlements I represented. And he and I spoke many times. So I know him personally. Mm-hmm. I know the very distinguished deputy, Brave Davis, a very do-it kind of person. He don't talk much, but he's a get-it-done person. And I know the players. I know the Minister of Health. I know all of the players. I know them. They know me. When we see one another, we speak as friends. And I am saying one of the things that bothers me, not the fact that I find myself in the predicament where I've been waiting for more than 16 months just for an answer.
16 months?
Yes, for an answer on an application for the health health and licensing authority, the council. I've been waiting for that long.
16 months?
Yes, for an answer, And I'm saying that I just want an answer, for what I made application for. And we can talk about that, but I just want an answer. But it's taken me many, many letters that I would have written. And that's why, if you notice the article of yesterday, it said that maybe I don't count.
There was an article. There was an article. Yeah. Let me back up in the Tribune, the business section yesterday.
Yes.
Where Neil Hartnell spoke to this issue. Yes. Perhaps, do you think that you count?
Well, I tell you what, Steve. I am someone who I believe has great resilience, and I haven't lost it. But 16 months, Steve, can wear you down, man, as a Bahamian in your own country. Mm-hmm. 16 months applying for something will wear you down. Yeah? Mm-hmm. And so I got to the point whereby I was near the ground, but I can't go under, because when I got my foreign investor to come along with me in the project in Sandy Port, I was the first MRI outside of one that's in one of the hospitals. I was the first outpatient MRI. I started it because of a stroke that I had.
I remember.
And I recognized that this was a great demand and that poor people could not afford the huge amount that they were paying locally. And I did my research and I came up with a reasonable amount that was affordable. So I don't take credit, but I'm saying that I know that I bought the price from $1,500 per MRI down to $8. Because after I did my research, I saw where I could live and I could make it affordable to Bahamian citizens. After running that from October of 2010, really got started 8 months later, because it took me 8 months later just to get approval at that time. And it's taken me about 16 months now to get approval. I ran that for successfully for 4 years, and I thought I needed to expand into another area. And then, unfortunately, my wife came down with breast cancer. And I want you to know that it is an epidemic in this country.
Of course it is.
The cancer. And I know what we had to go through with the breast cancer situation and the PETs, the positron emission tomography and the computer tomography. And I know how difficult that situation can be and the cost factors, and I understand that. And so I thought it was a good idea for me to seek ways that I could make that also affordable to Bahamians so that you won't endeavor into Florida. And so, of course, I want you to know banks do not help us. I don't know if you have the same experiences I've had, but banks do not help small businesses in the country.
No, they don't.
And so therefore I had built up a little nest egg. So I decided to invest in this thing. Yeah. And I was able to purchase it, and I able to get it, and I had it installed. It cost me $20,000 to have it installed in my business. And it's taken me 16 going on to 17 months just to hear back and for you to tell me, as a Bahamian, I think the system of governance, the system should be encouraging entrepreneurship. It should not be hindering. It should tell me if I'm going wrong, it should direct me, it should steer me right. Because it's necessary. We fuel the economy. No, it's not $3.5 billion, a one-shot deal, because you reap what you sow. When you invest $3.5 billion and something go wrong, my brother, you lose $3.5 billion worth of people working and all of that. You see, when I invest, and I invest $500,000, and I have 800 people working, eight people working, then there's only 8 persons lost. And it's more economical for me to sustain my 8. Yeah, but how are you going to sustain your 5,000-6,000, if you invest all that money? So you cannot ignore small business in this country.
Point taken.
It has to be an easy way for us. There has to be a catch net. And I'm saying government. I say government.
Government supply.
Yes, there has to be
net.
Yes, it has to be a safety net to catch people, not like me, but I mean all the other businesses out there. It's tough.
Yeah, it is tough. This is a tough environment, a tough economy. There are many people who are not working, even though you compare yourself with a major mega billion-dollar project and you say, what is it worth when we compare perhaps 6,000 to 8,000 people in a $3.5 billion project with a $500,000 project, $1 million project that employs 8, 9, 10, 12 people who are Bahamians who are depending upon an income to sustain their families. It is just as important.
Exactly. And
every job is a job that's equal as far as Bahamians are concerned. Every job counts.
Yes. And the people, your employees become your family. I guarantee you could say the same thing for
Absolutely.
For Peace,
Absolutely.
They count on you, and they like your children. They like your family.
So what do you think is the problem? Now, of course, you made your application. Nothing has happened because of what? It's just what? Not people not being diligent, people not being caring, people not being timely. Is it the laissez-faire attitude toward business and Bahamians in business? What is the crux of the matter as to why you have had to now take another look at what you attempted to do.
Well, one of the problems, I believe, Steve, very, very fundamental and basic, is that Bahamians need to recognize that we have a country to build, and every business is part and parcel of the development and the building of this nation.
No question.
Every Bahamian business in particular. See, I can't pack up and run. You know, the other fella can pack up and run and go somewhere else. I can't pack up and run.
You got to make this work.
This is home, yeah. And then
you've got to have great resilience.
Yes,
as you
I
said.
have resilience because we have a country to build. Yes, and once our people in the positions recognize the petty politics and the petty things aside, and recognize that this is a vital element in the building and construction of this nation.
I sense that. I sense you want to speak to that because I sense that's where the problem really is. That there are people who will say, well, that's only this person. We're not too particular. And as a result of it, they don't see the business aspect.
No,
they don't see the employment aspect. No. They don't see the building up of that. We now have our own MRI, outpatient care that can help so many people.
Yeah.
And we never know when we need this. With all the trauma, with all the drama that happens in the country today and all the trauma that happens in the many situations domestically in this country, it would be foolhardy not to have something where people can go.
And the thing about it, Steve, is that I endeavored into something called a positron emission tomography.
Now, what is that?
It's nuclear medicine. What it does, it images the body for cancer, cardiovascular, and brain disorders. It's a technology that just ain't reach. This technology has been around for some time, and it is not in the Bahamas. It's not in the Caribbean region. I thought there was a need. I know, because I know my wife had to go away for pets, and I know what it costs. And it's not here. And I find a way where it can work in the Bahamas. Now, there's some technical things about it, but I'm saying that we are Bahamians, man. We are intelligent people. Don't fail us before we try. Don't fail us before we get a chance. Let us do what we got to do and help us. Don't fail us before we start. Don't tell me that because this is technical and that it ain't here and it's doing it in every corner in the United States. Don't tell me the Americans is more bright than Bahamians. We go to university and we come out smarter than them anyhow. So don't tell me that because they can do it, because it ain't here, that we can't do it. So you can't trust Bahamians. No. We believe in our country, so our country need to believe in us.
So where's the holdup? Because I sense too that there is a view that people believe that Bahamians really can't do some things. So leave that alone. Don't give them no license to go ahead and do this because this isn't something that we believe that we have faith in them that they can do. Is the holdup, Mr. Miller? This is very important because, a lot of people are getting involved in a lot of business and they don't really need this hang up and to lose their money. What's the holdup? How come you have this thing, you've been in business for 4.5 years, nearly 5 years, it's doing good, you want to improve on another area that is vital in a country that has a cancer rate that's unbelievable, and even international universities are trying to study this phenomenon. Well, how come all of these Bahamian women have this breast cancer? This could happen anytime. Why is cancer on the rise in the Bahamas? And you're saying to me that it seems to me that you're saying that somewhere along the lines in the medical field, there may be some people who are questioning whether or not this is a good thing and whether or not this fella should have it, or is it somewhere that we prefer this one as opposed to that one? What is happening here? Because it has certainly hurt the business.
No, Steve, it is a very, very good question you ask. The reality is that, one, I am not a physician. Don't claim to be. And when something go wrong that I need to see, I go to see a specialist in the area of my illness. I'm not a physician. But what I do, I image and I scan. I provide an essential service to the medical community. That's what I seek to do. And I hire the proper persons. I hire technologists who does the scanning. For example, the PET, the radiologic technologist, is somebody, a trained professional who will actually do the scanning. That's what I do. I know I need
You
that.
find the requisite skilled people,
yes,
professionally qualified to make it happen.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then Steve, the thing that is so telling in my situation, and I guess if you look at Bahamians and what they do, you'll probably find similarities between my situation and theirs. But I've had fusion physicists out of Orlando come down and inspect the facility to make sure that I was in agreement with standards of that
International
of the state
practices.
of Florida.
Mhm.
Yeah. That was not in the local authority. That was not good enough. The United States standards were not standards that's applicable to the Bahamas and the region. So therefore I went along and I got Dr. Carly Miller, who's a renowned physicist and a radiation officer, certified by many agencies in the world. And he does most of the checking of facilities in the region. And I had him give me a report. And as a matter of fact, he is so impressed. He said that it is something that has never happened in this region and something that virtually needed. And he connected me with companies in Jamaica who is ready to really start real medical tourism by sending people here once I get started. And so I've been excited about this. This is a dream of a Bahamian.
One born out of need. There you were, you had a stroke. It sparked you to do something. There you are, your wife became ill because of cancer. It sparked you to do something, and you put your money where your mouth is. To me, that's already an extraordinary story. That's already a wonderful story of accomplishment to have, to be able to do that. But you are getting all this hang up with how you're going to get the necessary documentation to make the approvals happen and to keep the business going.
Yeah.
Hold your thought, because I've got calls on the line. And I want you to call today, friends, because we're talking business. You see, when you build a country, building this country, as I keep saying every day, is not only about looking at petty politics, because that's where our level is, apparently. And there are some who believe that, well, that's all they want. We're politically polarized. Building a country also happens to be about building businesses that can help to create employment in the private sector and also help to take us to another level, state-of-the-art level. Could you imagine people coming from around the Caribbean to the Bahamas because of facilities that have been done, completed, and ready for operation by one who had an experience of a lifetime? I remember when Tony Miller had the stroke. Tony Miller could not talk. Not for one day, and couldn't walk. I thought that was it for him, to be honest with you. But the Lord obviously used that to open some other doors, as he will use other things to open other doors as you talk on this show today. Let me go to the telephone lines and take some calls. 325-0235 or 6. We're talking business. We're talking what should we be doing to make sure that at the end of the day, Bahamians who go into business are able to get a fair shake. And if they fail, let it be because they failed, not because some people decided that we're not going to even give them a chance to get it moving. 325-0235 or 6. Good afternoon, Hard Copy. How are you? Good afternoon, Hard Copy. How are you? Good afternoon, Hard Copy. How are you? Okay, I don't have anything on my telephone lines. I see them blinking. All right, so maybe I lost those calls. You can get back on the lines, 325-0235 or 6. 325-0242 or 43, and 325-0252 or 53. Anthony Miller, brother, because I think this is important. Hard Copy, how are you?
Mr. McKinney, how you doing?
Very good, thanks.
Mr. Miller, how you doing, sir?
Good afternoon, sir.
Now, the problems you having, I got a brother in Freeport having the same problems. He got a business making jams and condiments. And most of the Bahamian people who want to do business in this country having the same problem. But you know what I think it is? I think it is we have come to a spot in this country as Bahamians that you got a problem getting a license to do things in this country. And my thing right now is the people who really at the top echelons of this country, issuing out license in the hospitals and everywhere. They're not of you.
I agree. I agree with you fully, sir.
The people from the Family Island, Andros, Auckland, Exuma, Long Island, Cat Island, all of these people wasn't in a position. The people who are in a position now, if this country to move forward for the people, indigenous Bahamian, to get anything done in this country, you got to clean the house completely on the top echelons of this country. Because people blocking the Bahamians, we're trying to do some business in this country. They're blocking you straight through. Okay? And a lot of people already don't understand this, you know. They don't understand this. But this is a block for you as a Bahamian citizen from Andros, Exuma, Cat Island, Long Island, Auckland, Ragged Island, Crooked Island, all these places. This is for you to give up and get out of this country.
But you can't do that.
No, but you can't. This is what's happening to us right now. And if we can't see this right now, Mr. McKinney, we finished.
I appreciate your
We
call.
move to the place where we move all of these people on top echelon.
I hear you. I appreciate your call. Thank you kindly. That's how most people see things, that it's all politics, it is all pettiness, that, you know, you can't have it, somebody else can have it. That's reserved for some other group, or we have a group that want to do the same thing. That's what he's talking about. He talked about it's difficult to get licenses. It is difficult. Let's speak. Wait, before I let you speak, let me take this call. Hard copy, how are you?
Hey, Steve. Good afternoon.
Hey, good afternoon, Graham. How are you?
And to Anthony.
Hey, good afternoon, Graham.
You know what's really sad? We have to, Steve, remove the passion. We have to get to the root of the problem.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
You know, if I come with a good idea, I guess the word is dog in a manger. None of y'all can get it. Scorched, burnt ground. You know, what's sad is you have a good idea. You have something that will help the mothers of the nation not die. And, you know, with all this pollution we have in the country, you know these cases are going to be outrageous. And so you have to wonder, Steve, if it's a racket.
Yeah, we wonder that too, if it's a racket.
If I'm in the industry and I'm making money because, you know, you're going my way instead of this gentleman's way, and there's no one that is fighting for the people. That's the sad part. You have Peter and Paul in the House of Assembly, and it's a tennis game, and the people are expiring and being poisoned and not having any capability of having a solution in their own country, talking about believe and moving the country forward. This right here, I was appalled when I saw this, Steve.
Mm-hmm.
Here you have somebody who can actually treat you here without you having to spend all that money and have that headache and hassle going away. And what was exciting is, you know, the product that he uses that's injected to actually be picked up by the equipment in your bloodstream. That product has a shelf life of, I think it was about a half hour, right, Tony?
You're very right. Yeah, but I found a way where it could extend the life, so therefore we can still do the procedure in the Bahamas.
And you see that was a Bahamian being creative to extend the product so that you could actually not have to even rush to get to his facility. And so you have your world-class Bahamians, but they're being displaced so that we can bring in foreigners, Steve, and you hit on this every day, who will be subservient and bow to these rulers. And so, you know, we have to move to passion and stop screaming, and when we call you, we have to call a spade a spade.
Mm-hmm.
Corruption to the top. And until we address and fight corruption in a country of pirates from day one, well, whatever, buck up, go. You guys have a good one.
I appreciate it. Thanks for your call. 325-023546. If you want to talk about business and the kinds of roadblocks. And you should get excited about this because there are many Bahamians who have roadblocks. There are businesses that are just going along the way right now just because, but they're catching hell. It is difficult to do business in the Bahamas. It is expensive to do business in the Bahamas. When you look at national insurance and all these things that have to be paid, electrical bills, the maintenance, the business licenses, the taxes that are applied to local businesses, I don't know how people stay in business. It is really a rough and tumble thing. Now, Tony Miller, you obviously, notwithstanding that you know the power players, that you know and that they've seen your work and that they have seen you exist for the past 4 or 5 years, you know who they are, yet that made no difference. That made no difference that here's a capable man who has run banks, who has done everything in a professional area, who has run the government's airline as the chairman of Bahamas Air, who have been in many areas of development, and who is an island boy just trying to do as best he could to help some Bahamians after having a stroke, after having a wife find herself in this crucial situation with breast cancer. You tried to make good out of that to help others, but that does not count. What happened? How come this licensing thing that the gentleman talked about earlier continues to be
well, Steve, let me tell you why I believe, and I hope the gentleman is still listening, because I'm sure he will agree. For you to get a license now, Steve, you make application to the licensing department. But in spite of the networking of technology that we have exposed to, you go there and they give you a list of things that you must go and get. Now, you drove there.
Yes.
Instead of the network in the system, technology working for you, you then have to drive down to town planning to get a letter. Then you must drive to the Ministry of Works and get a letter. Then you must go to environmental health and get a letter. Then you must sit down, or if you don't drive out to the road to get your VAT registered, or you got to go on the computer and you got to get that registered. If you as a Bahamian citizen don't have the courage to go through that process,
the determination,
yes,
the wherewithal,
you would be discouraged from doing that business. And I wish there was some tracking of persons who have the entrepreneur spirit and whose spirit has been so damaged and destroyed by the system.
The system
you
discourages.
You would be shocked to know the number of persons who this system is actually killing.
No, I hear what you're saying. You see, because maybe this system is an old system of people with old minds who decided that when they wrote and put down the system, they didn't have Bahamians in the mix. And that's why you've been hearing over the years, business people, white and black, and Chinese Bahamians have been saying, look, why don't we roll up the red carpet for our local investors and encourage them like we do for the foreign investors?
Yes.
How come they could get a concessions and we can't get that?
Exactly.
Now, you're telling me today that it's gotten to the point where even getting a license is difficult, no matter what the business is, because of all the rigmarole. Go here, go there. When we are technologically savvy, we're supposed to be able to be online to each of the agencies, and they can look right on the computer and see that, oh, you didn't go over here yet. You need to just do that because we see here on the computer that such and such is the case. So what is happening? Does this mean that we are failing in building the Bahamas through the proper fixtures being in place for business?
Yeah, I Steve, you hit the nail on the head. But if I may, if you just give me an opportunity to make this point, a friend of mine know of my situation. And he kept telling me, don't go public. Wait. You know how those people are? Wait and wait. And I'm wondering, like, wait for what? I'm a Bahamian citizen in my country, and based on the concept of Bahamians being first in the Bahamas. And I bought into that. Bahamians first. I bought into that.
You're not the only one. Many people bought into
that. I bought into that concept. But then I start feeling that I was not first. Because I notice in the newspaper, and I see this being signed with foreign, and this being done with the foreign, and this being given to the foreign. And I'm waiting to see something being signed with the Bahamian. I'm waiting for something, for some heads of agreement to be signed with Bahamians if that's necessary. I'm waiting for something for Bahamians. I want to see a Bahamian citizen smiling in the newspaper with the Prime Minister. That something has happened for him.
This is a distant thought in the minds of those who run the show. Because you're right, in a time when we need to encourage the entrepreneurial spirit in our country and have people invest in the Bahamas, we don't see any encouragement of that happening. I'm disappointed to hear about what is happening here. See, if this was a completely new business that you were talking about, and I could say, well, okay, maybe they believe this and that. Here you are existing. Here you are, you put more than $1 million, I imagine, into this particular investment. And what does the headline in the Tribune business page say yesterday? It says, my $1 million investments don't fit in the Bahamas. Now, that hurt me, because here's a Bahamian who know people. And if he know people, colleagues in governance, and can get it done because of a bad failing system, then heaven help us all.
Yeah.
What's this big idea that you got now that you want to do? Will it go anywhere? Will it fly?
Yeah. But Steve, that's why I must speak. That's why I'm here today, because it cannot be in the minds of our young people, our potential entrepreneurs, that this will happen to them. They must know that there's a better way, and there's a way where it could work for them. And that's why I can't stop. That's why I can't give in, because I cannot let it be said to the young people, a young man I know who is getting into the business of doing plastics and something like that, and he has some big ideas, and I can't let him know that this will happen to him when he put his couple dollars together. And I cannot let the entrepreneur spirit in this land, in my country, and the people of Saudi Lutheran, the people in Nassau and throughout this country, that this is not the way that is supposed to happen, that this is wrong to happen to me, and it should not happen to them. And they must recognize that when they invest their money in this country, that this country have a catch net to make sure that they succeed as best the government knows how.
This is how it's supposed to be. I mean, that is automatic. But it seems like our people today are far removed.
Yeah.
Tony Miller, this is what I want to say as I run to the calls, right? It appears that if you are not in business with particular circles, you don't fly. It appears that there's a mafia kind of style, I want to call it, and I mean this, that if you are not in this particular inner circle of you're doing this and we're doing that, and how does this mesh together, it seems like it will be spat upon and smothered. Now, I'm not saying that other business people are doing that, I'm saying the system allows for it to happen. I'm saying that there's also a cartel of business people. I say every day on the show, Bahamians read the business pages. But you see, there are many media houses that are part and parcel of this business conglomerate, that they have their own little conglomerate here, and the next one over there got their conglomerate of friends who are involved in the businesses, and we don't even get the real news when these big companies are selling shares or what they're doing, because some people got it on lockdown. Yes. Look at the business of radio. You tell me how that the government of the Bahamas, successive governments, have decided that we are going to give anybody in this area, no real criteria, when we open up the radio stations, we're going to give newspapers radio licenses too.
Yes.
Let me show you the danger in that. The danger in that is that the other smaller businesses, such as mine and many others, who stand alone in radio business because it's our field, you will get smothered if you're not smart enough and creative enough, because the market becomes saturated with the commercials on the bigger ones who can give you a newspaper ad and a radio ad, to the detriment of the new young upcoming entrepreneur in radio who also hires a bunch of people. You see, it doesn't make sense. There has to be criteria and rules that these are the people who are in this business and you are in this business. And even the philosophers, even the founders of some of these entities of newspapers, they, in their books, Eddie Nepute in his book, talks about never wanting to have anything to do with any radio and technology. Newspaper. But of course, others have a view that they want to expand. And there's nothing wrong with expansion. All I'm saying is that there's got to be criteria and rules of engagement so as to not neutralize, stamp out others. Do you know what will happen if all the private radio stations, the small ones, step aside and are smothered? The big boys who control everything will control everything in government as well, because what they say is what counts. It's a dumb thing that has happened, but it has happened. It has happened. Now, how do we fix that as industry leaders? Even when you see IRCA and those in my neck of the woods, in my field, decide that they're going to have meetings, I told them right on the radio, You guys are wanting me to come to meetings as a private business person in this field, but I don't see the other big boys who have all these stations and these newspapers come. What the hell's wrong with that? How come they don't have to come? You see the point? So I'm showing you, when I talk, I know what I'm saying.
Playing field ain't level.
The playing field's not level, and I'm sure that if it happens in my neck of the woods, it's happening in other areas of the neck of the woods of some people who, in fact, want just a fair chance, just an opportunity. We're not asking for anything, just the opportunity to be able to be in business, right? And to strive in business under a level playing field. But how do you do that when you're going to put conditions on things and bring others in an area that they know nothing of, but they were the ones who broke through because of what? Politics. Yeah. That's all it is.
Yeah.
And I'm not angry about it. I'm just expressing it strongly because I know what you're talking about. I know what you feel. And I know how it is to try to meet the payroll and all that and to keep people going.
Yes.
And you must not fail. You see, when I saw this story, I said, I got to call Tony. You must not fail. You must not be deterred. You must not be discouraged. You must find a way. You must kick the door down if you have to. Allen and Butler told me that.
Yes.
They don't want to let you, and you kick the door down.
Yes.
And that's my resolve. So this Negro here is going to be a difficult Negro. That's how you got to look at it. You've got to fight your way through what you want in your own country. That's just the struggle of a people who have not come into their own yet economically. Yeah. Some people always had the money. They're able to duplicate their business and triplicate, if that's a word, their business. They do all kinds of things. But you as a little fella, Miss Wee's little son from Chippenham, little nobody, outside thought the little boy he ain't been nowhere, trying to do something and employing people. And we think that we do a good job. But you see,
and you certainly do.
Cards are stacked against you. And there's a need for an independent voice. Don't you see?
Yes.
In your business, here you've broken new ground. You've broken ground in an area that's staggering. It's like, well, who he is, who he is.
Yeah.
You see, and that's what I believe is happening. And it's happening in many other businesses, and we've got to speak truth to power on it. So let me take these calls as we continue our conversation here this evening. I've got to take these calls. Hard copy, how are you?
Hello, Steve.
Peace and love.
Hello.
Yes, sir. How you doing?
Good, good. Thank you for giving Mr. Miller there the opportunity to speak the truth, to vent, and giving him encouragement to conquer all obstacles before him. But please, Steve, do not dance around the word corruption.
No, I won't. Listen.
We live in a corrupt.
It is the biggest word of the Bahamas.
Okay? We have a situation, and I'm calling from Freeport, where I read in the papers where our good commissioner of police needs a wink and a nod to do his job with laws that currently exist on the books.
Isn't that something?
We have a situation where people are conflicted when they receive a project like Mr. Miller's. They are conflicted because they have interests in other ideas, or they want to steal Mr. Miller's ideas and turn him around when he knows that he's doing everything right. They allow him to spend money that he need not spend to get things that are due him in his country. All I can say to all involved, every political organization I can think of in this country, the entire world will hear loud and clear in 2017 that this electorate is not playing. Okay? We can change them every 5 years. The bottom line is, I think the country's had enough of corruption. Thank you and good night.
I thank you very kindly, and I think that's the case. Let me take another call or two. Hard copy before the break. How you doing?
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Dave.
Peace.
Hello.
Yes, sir. I'm listening to you.
Yeah. Who you have there with you?
This is Tony Miller. You remember Tony?
Okay, Mr. Miller.
Yes,
I
sir.
listened to you just now about a business license. I agree with just what you said. You got to go to the town planning. You got to go to the Ministry of Works. You got to go to the environmental health. You left out insurance.
That's right. You left out national insurance. And if they don't certify you, you might as well go nowhere because you ain't going to get nowhere.
Thanks for the reminder, because you can't get no license without that.
Yeah, you go to national insurance headquarters. They tell you got to go to Wolf Road. Then when you get to Wolf Road, mister, you come to the wrong place. You got to go down to Blue Hill Road. And Mr. Miller, when I went there, I said, well, it took me about an hour and a half down there. Well, while I was there, I said, well, let me get my national insurance renewed while I was there. The lady tell me, go across there to that window. I go to that window. The lady tell me, go through that door. I go through that door. When I get inside, now I got a national insurance card. They tell me I got to fill out a form. I say, for what? I only want a duplicate. And man, look, I got so pissed off, I walked out and I came home.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I appreciate your call. No, a lot of people and the government of the Bahamas has to pay attention because in many cases, governments get a raw deal. They get blamed for a lot of stuff, but it's the inaptness, the system, the inability to do things, to multitask, persons, behemoths just like us who are working, who are not diligent in many of the processes, who could care less. That's in the government end. There are things in the area of this service that we need. I don't know if you ever tried to go and get a renewal of passport, a renewal of, listen, you have to stake out there for days. It is the most incredible thing in a country that's supposed to be made up of just 300 and some thousand people. It's the most incredible thing. But the gentleman from Freeport, he hit it. It is corruption. A lot of things are clogged in the system because of this corruption, people taking a shortcut, people messing up the system, and legitimate business people, KB said it. Tip, tip, tip. I mean, if you don't do that, nothing happens. Nothing happens in this town. But that's from a people. You see, no one is kind of bringing the brick down and saying, look here, this is going to stop. We have people to serve. Preventing Mr. Miller right now from doing something that he is qualified to do, that he has all the necessary apparatus in place to do, has put 8 people out of job right now. Those are 8 people who can least afford to be out of jobs because we see what the unemployment rate is. But you just duplicate that, just multiply that. 8 from Tony, 16 from this one, 51 from that one, 71 from this one, 12 from this company. These are people who are not working. Is there any wonder why the unemployment rate is somewhere approaching 20%?
Steve, I'm happy you mentioned that because when you go to East Street and Bay Street, the corner of East Street and Bay Street, have you driven from East Street and Bay Street directly to the bridge?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's a dead zone.
It is. It's a dead zone.
All those businesses are closed.
Yeah, they are. It's
Where
a
are those
ghost town.
people who work there? Where are those people who own those businesses? Where have they gone? There has to be. See, there's a reason why you're a government,
Mm-hmm.
You're a government to come up with ideas and solutions to problems.
Yes. To provide the opportunities.
Not only
create
sustain,
the environment,
but create. What needs to happen on that side of Bay Street to generate the business and get those business, so people can go past there to get to that place.
Tony, you know something?
So they can see.
You're absolutely right. Even if there was a level of national pride emanating from those who want to at least showcase that we don't look so bad. Tourists are passing through, they wonder, well, how come we have to pass through this ghetto, because that's what it is, to get to where we're going to Atlantis or any place on Paradise Island, because everything is battened down, buildings are falling down. We need to have more pride, and we need to have more honesty, and we need to stomp out corruption, because that's what's killing us. But maybe the viewpoint is when the Chinese come. See, that's the new talk, But when the Chinese come, they're going to take care of it. And what's going to become of the Bahamas? Will we use our European look? Will we use this design that we had, that we know that we're affiliated with England, with Britain? Or will we have something new now that's looking like China? Because when the Chinese come, certainly they'll breed their complexion upon what it is that they meet there. And anything they put there, we'll embrace, because look at what we got. See, I'm just saying, this is all part and parcel of what our problems are. Is there anyone in government thinking along the lines of how we're going to spur on entrepreneurship, how we're going to relax some things and allow people to organize themselves into real businesses and get things moving? All of these returns, all of these agencies bucking up to one another, it's not good. It is not good for big business. It is not good for small business. It is not good for medium-sized businesses. Every businessman in this country complains about the inadequate system, the antiquated system that we have in doing business. It doesn't make it easy. So why would a behemoth want to stress himself out? Unless it's going to be a small operation, sometimes without a license, because they ain't going to be bothered. They're just going to set up shop. Why would you stress yourself out and want to get into something modern when you could just sell some chicken in a bag on the side of the road, sell some crab on the side of the road, sell some old bicycle you find in the flea market, and not get a license?
That's the best. That's all Bahamians should do.
Yeah.
That's the best of us. But Steve, you know what I see? When I see a Bahamian business person, I see them getting up 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning, getting ready and going to open their business to make a day's work for their family. That's what I see. And I think the government need to start seeing that. When they pass a business, know ye that don't judge that business because that door is open at 12 o'clock. Don't judge that business because that door is open at 9. That person came from Winton Meadows, where I come from in the east, because I hear them in the morning. I hear them cars leaving home 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning. I hear them going because I getting ready to go up myself. We get up early in the morning. Yeah, we try to go to bed early and we try to get up early to get started so we can have those doors open, so that our employees can be there on time, so that we can provide the quality service and the goods that is necessary to keep this country running. That's what we do. We get up early in the morning. No, we're not sleeping. You know, when the political person can get up and go to his office at 10 or go to the cabinet at 10, no. We already there, sir. When you sleeping, we there. And I think they need to see us in that light.
Yeah, we need a paradigm shift. Well, you know, this is a time of new beginnings. We're going to see people, says Dr. Miles Monroe in his prophecy, that we've never seen before. People with a brain power mindset that will blow our minds, he says.
Rise up.
That people are just tired of the foolishness. We need a break. The Bahamian people need a break. We need a break in business. We need a break and a relaxation from all these, this whole twist and turn, treacherous way of trying to just make something happen. We need a break. Let's take a call. Hard copy, how are you? Good afternoon, I'm listening.
Yes. On?
Yeah, you're on with me. You're on with Steve on Hard Copy.
Oh, hello, Steve. I listen to you every day. I enjoy the show every day, just about every day, and I thank you very much for your national service. I called because I was just very unclear. And my question to Mr. Miller is exactly what is Mr. Miller seeking to have approved? And what exactly are the reasons he is receiving from this council as to why his approval is being delayed? I wonder if you can clarify that for me. I'll just hang up and listen.
I appreciate your call.
Thank you very much. Goodbye.
Kindly, thank you.
Well, thank you very much for the question. I'll try to answer it as short as I can, and I'll try to clarify this situation, this discussion. I'll try to make it as clear as I can for you. You know, I have started an MRI business in the country, and I operated an MRI business for 5 years. And I am approved to provide imaging service to the medical community. And I do a lot of business with the hospital, Princess Margaret Hospital also. And I expanded something into the scanning business in the positron emission tomography, which is borderline nuclear medicine. And it is really is a diagnostic mechanism to diagnose cancer in the human body and cardiovascular disorders and brain disorders, etc. And I endeavored into that business as an extension to my business. And I need government approval because it is a new endeavor in the Bahamas. Now, the one of the things that I want to make clear is that the isotope, which is the tracer that is needed to have these procedures done, it is not new in the Bahamas, because the very distinguished Dr. Conville Brown, he uses isotope at his business now. He does not have a PET machine, but I know he uses isotope, so it's not new. And also radiation treatment. If you notice, when you go to have an X-ray done, if you notice the gentleman, you have to put on the thing, and the gentleman goes and hide and because he don't want to be exposed to some degree of radiation. So these things aren't new. I am seeking to get an approval to operate this new machine. Now, the tragedy is that what happened to me, Steve, is that a perfect storm happened. My little nest egg that I had, I invested in the PET, and then my MRI went down. While waiting for my PET to be approved, my MRI went down. So therefore, the money that I would have repaired my MRI is invested in my PET while I'm waiting. So therefore, my my MRI down, and I can't operate my pet. And so I'm seeking to get permission so that I can operate my pet. I believe that all country should have the necessary protocols and the necessary systems in place, whereby when you introduce something new, that it can be approved in the country. That's what I believe. But obviously, what I believe is not necessarily so.
And this would be compared with best practices that are happening, even though we may not have had one here. There are always places and conventions that you can turn to for best practices for those who are in the medical profession or those who are on the council to give approval to see how this, in fact, can be done in a safe way. And not only that, if there are professionals applying it, and then what is the problem? And I suppose that's one of the questions that the gentleman was trying to figure out. Just what's the genesis? What's at the bottom base of what the holdup is?
Well, Steve, one of the things that I would like to clarify is that the radiologics technologist, who is the person who operate a PET scan, they're certified to operate a PET scan. I don't know that we have somebody like that here, but here's what I did. See, I'm in the business. I cover my base, you know. I entered into a contractual agreement with Renaissance Imaging in Florida, who provide pets to Bahamians. They go to that facility all the time to come down and operate my facility until a Bahamian is certified, until a Bahamian is trained. They would come 2 days and operate my facility. I don't have to operate it for 5 days. 2 days, they can come and do it so that Bahamians who need this service can have it right here in the country. And so don't tell me that, well, we don't have the qualified persons. Yeah, I know we have the qualified persons. You know, pets are all over Florida, Almost every imaging center in Miami, you can have a pet done. They're all over the place.
So the objective is to not allow monies to go someplace else, to keep monies here, to have Bahamians conveniently dealt with here by professionals in the field, and they're all accepted and certified, and they follow best practices.
Yes, and then I think it would help to balance the payment in terms of central bank standards, because then all of the money wouldn't just be pouring going into Florida. Some of the money would stay here.
And people would have to rent a car, get a plane ticket, get a hotel, all those kinds of things in order to get the services that you have brought to the Bahamas for it to be provided.
Exactly. And Steve, my challenge to the authorities is simply this. All right. If my application does not meet the standard that you believe I should meet, and the standards that I used, then I say, help me. Help me. My brothers and sisters in radio land, you hearing me, I'm asking for help then by the authorities. If you deny me, then
point you in the right direction.
Yes.
If this is not up
to
what
I'm
they
going
want.
wrong, then stop me. As a Bahamian, as your brother in this Bahamas, in this land, where Bahamians should be first, then stop me and direct me in the right direction. Then tell me don't go off a cliff, or don't force me to go off a cliff.
Some people may get the impression that this may sound more personal because of persons who are in the field who are not allowing it to go forward. How do you respond to that before I take this call?
Well, I say, Steve, I find myself in this situation. I didn't think I'd be here. I thought the system would have worked for me. I had to clear customs. I had to bring my equipment through customs and had to be responsible for paying customs. I did the right thing. I did the right thing.
Hard copy, how are you?
Good evening, Mr. McKinney.
Peace and love.
How are you today, sir?
Man, I'm in good shape.
Good. That is reconciled. How are you, Mr. Miller?
Mr. Reconciler, I'm doing okay under the circumstances.
Man, listen. God is still in charge, my brother. There's always light at the end of the tunnel. And I can say, Steve, as I listen here today, I remember, I don't know where I heard this story, I don't know if you said it or someone else, that there was a Bahamian who was in a specific field that was being trained by a Canadian, a white Canadian. And
the time came when this man must leave, and the man recommended this Bahamian who had excelled in the profession and become very good at what he did. And when he went on to certain officials in the government or government agencies, they said, no, it can't be him. We will not have him to be the one. And that is what goes on my mind as I hear this today. And you know, that man went to that Bahamian and said, you know, why are these people doing this to you? You can do what you are doing, but they do not want you to be in that position to do it. Why? It's because of petty jealousy, the nepotism, the corruption, and they want Bahamians to be in a sense of servitude and for their friends, family, and lovers to have certain things. They don't think that the average Bahamian can have or deserve to have a certain, and I'm just talking from what I believe it is, you know? But Mr. Miller, I believe that you should be steadfast. You are a Bahamian. You went through customs. You did what you had to do. You brought the stuff in, and you must stick to your guns. Do not sell out. Do not, compromise your position, because you deserve to have it. The Bahamian people deserve to have it. And I believe that, you know, whoever is the medical field who is trying to put a matter of fact, who is putting a roadblock here, they need to cease and desist. I let Brother Miller, you know, he's been in the business for almost 5 years. And I don't think that he should be stopped because of, you know, some political gimmickry. I believe that he should have his chance. Have a good day, Brother McGinney.
I appreciate your call. Thank you kindly. 325-023506 is how you can call us. Tony Miller is my special guest. Tony Miller is a former member of Parliament of South Eleuthera, a businessman who runs Citibank, and, of course, executive chairman of Bahamas Air. He knows business. He's done some things. He's invested in some serious equipment that has been in business for the last nearly 5 years, that has been really pioneering, is a word, in detection of many things, and of course MRI scanning. He's in a very elaborate place at Sandy Port in Cable Beach, and a lot of things have been happening from the benefits of Bahamians being able to capitalize on the fact that these facilities are now available here. He's worked with the hospitals locally as well, and suddenly in expanding his business for this thing he calls PET that helps to detect cancer in patients and all that. This is where the holdup is. There are some people, I suppose, who are arbitrary to this particular move, and Mr. Miller may have make on people not going and spending monies elsewhere, but spending it right home here because the technology is available. Here's what Tony Miller said in a newspaper story this week, yesterday, in the business section. He spoke to the business editor over there and said along the lines, and I want to quote from the Tribune here, a disillusioned Mr. Miller told the Tribune business he was now considering selling a business that would provide Bahamians with quality health care at home, stemming the outflow of foreign exchange while also stimulating medical tourism from other Caribbean countries. And he has admitted that he's been worn down by this never-ending problem of approval, waiting for approvals in the system. It's just taken so long. 16 months, you said. One of the bylines says, or one of the subheadlines said, system has worn down pioneering cancer detection system. Bahamas loses reduced healthcare costs, medical and medical tourism. And Mr. Miller warns, he says, God help over the hill businesses if I am catching hell after this investment of close to or just over $1 million. Is that correct?
Well, Steve, one of the things that I want to mention in that vein is that the small guy in Baintown, the small potential entrepreneur in Baintown or in Fox Hill, or maybe South Eleuthera, the small person, I say, I've been worn down after 16 months. And I wonder, and I kind of know the system, and I have the air, I believe, of some people. And if this is what I, Anthony Miller, Herbin and Mabel, son, from Green Castle in Eleuthera, if this is what I have to go through, and I would have excelled to a level whereby one may think that this should not be the way it is for me, then I say, God help the small fellow who may not have the same access and the same understanding of the system that I believe I understand.
My goodness. Let's pay a bill. We have to pay this bill, I know, before the show is concluded. So we're going to run and pay a bill here on Hard Copy this afternoon. Come back, take the final calls, read some text messages, and hope that those in authority listening in would reconsider this particular situation, considering that it's helping so many people. It's above board. It's nothing illegal. It's nothing clandestine. It is just that maybe there are some people who feel that this is a little bit too big for a fella who really ain't no doctor. And sometimes people look at things like that, he ain't no doctor. So, but if this fella is a businessman who is bringing in the requisite talented pool of individuals who know what they're doing, running it efficiently, running it according to industry standards, what is the problem? Don't we want to encourage behemoths in business? Or is it just certain businesses? Maybe it's just chicken in the bag and, selling crabs on the side of the road. You take your pick. Maybe it is going to the flea market and bringing back some inferior things to sell on the side of Iron Bailey Park. I don't know. What do you think? I mean, if you're going to dare to dream big, maybe you are foolish. Or is it just that this is a very peculiar and odd circumstance? This is Hard Copy. We'll take your calls when we come back.
The best insurance in town is Advantage Insurance on Collins Avenue. They are simply the best because they provide easy, affordable insurance rates for home, car, business, or whatever is valuable or important to you. Advantage Insurance and Brokers, 61 Collins Avenue, is the fastest, most progressive insurance company in the Bahamas because they really take care of you by making insurance totally affordable. Call them now at 356-0285 or 6, or email them at info@advantagebahamas.com.
At Super Value and Quality Supermarkets, we salute all the dads who are working hard and providing for their family. We also salute this year's graduates and wish them well as they continue on their journey. This week's specials include Rosoni Ready Cut Macaroni, the 14-ounce box, 99 cents. Cardinal Cream, large can, $1.09. Grace Mackerel, 15-ounce, $1.49. Value Time Foam Plates, 40-count pack, $1.69. Pork Chop Ends, $1.99 per pound. Loving our dads and grads at Super Value and Quality Supermarkets.
Entrepreneurs, are you missing out on sales because you don't accept credit card payments? Then BLB has the solution for you. Introducing BLB Mobile Express, the most affordable mobile card processing package for self-employed persons. With BLB Mobile Express, you can accept credit card payments almost anywhere on your smartphone or tablet, so you never have to miss a sale. Get paid on the spot with BLB Mobile Express. Visit any BLB branch or call us at 397-3000. BLB, your bank of solutions.
When Steve talks, people listen. People listen. People listen.
Final few minutes together today on Hard Copy. We've been talking a little business. Big business not getting support from big government because maybe it's too innovative. This may be an isolated case. I would hate to think the government of the Bahamas, successive governments, have been kind of like nonchalant when it comes to Bahamians trying to make a major investment, especially an investment in an area that we need an investment in, MIR, PET, cancer training, cancer screening detections, that kind of a thing. Anthony Miller at Integra MRI has had such a challenge, and I don't believe that his challenges may be over, but I believe that he should be resolved and determined to make sure that this thing works out for him in his best interest at the end of the day. Tony Miller, a lot of people listening today may think that that's it, you've discouraged. They see the Tribune headlines, they say, your $1 million investment don't really fit in the Bahamas, and that it sounds discouraging and all kinds of things. We may never get to the bottom of what really is the source of why this has been held up, when it's a simple license that can be had with all the requisite people who are qualified to be here to apply these applications in a safe environment, as has been proven by industry standards. It is a hell of a situation to believe, but are you discouraged? Does this mean that you have thrown away the investment, thrown up your hands and forgetting about it? Or are you determined, because this investment was born out of need after the Lord had his time with you with a stroke and with your wife with cancer, and you decided to see an opportunity in this great disappointment and make something happen for others who would find themselves in a like situation?
Well, Steve, believe you me, I was near the ground, because human nature is like only so much you can take.
Yes, very true.
But you can be resolute.
Mm-hmm.
And when the article appeared in the paper, when I got the call from Hartnell and we had this discussion, I went online and I read the article online, and there's an area where there's comments, and I read the comments from my brothers and sisters in this nation. And when they read and they made comments to my article,
Mm-hmm.
and the encouragement I got from them, and then I couldn't be down. I had to get back up.
Mm.
And when I heard the gentleman from Freeport, and he talked about encouraging, and the gentleman who called and he said that God is still on the throne and that kind of thing. And and when I listened to you, and that's why I listened to Hard Copy. And your voice must never end, Steve. Your voice must keep going, because your voice is a source of encouragement and source of strength for Bahamians everywhere. And I'm resolved that I'm going to wear them out.
That's the spirit.
Because I will speak.
That's the spirit.
And I will not be deterred. I will speak.
This is your country. No
Yes.
one in the Bahamas is bigger than the Bahamians.
Yes. And
that's
I would
my
speak.
mantra.
And I want to say to my friend who said, don't speak, wait, because you know how those fellas are. Well, I don't care how they are. I'm a Bahamian citizen. This is my country.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm about trying to build and trying to be positive in my country. And if I am being negative, then you need to stop me. But if I'm being positive, then you can't stop me, because I ain't gonna let you stop me.
Mm-hmm.
And so I want to encourage young potential entrepreneurs, and the peanut seller, and the lady who is the cosmetology, and she is on Robinson Road, and those young people who get up early and who do the hair and do all of those things and get up early, and all of those places in Vinton where I live, and I hear them going like 3 and 4 o'clock in the morning. They get up and walk, and then they jump in their cars and they go to the office, they open their business. I would encourage them that my situation is not a finished situation, that I will not give up, and you must not give up, and you must never shut your doors. And when there's valleys, you go through, but you come out. If there's a fire, you don't get burned. You go through, but you come out. And I would encourage all Bahamians to have that, to be resolved and have that encouragement in business, and don't give up, because we got a country to build.
You're going to need it. Absolutely. Absolutely. Fantastic. Some text messages for the day. This person says to me, Steve, what is needed is not people in leadership. What is needed is leadership in people. And he's quoting Dr. Miles Monroe. He also says here today on the text, why did your guest make an investment before getting the approval? Did he not know about the greedy black crab crew? Well, he didn't make his investment before he got approval. He's expanding his investment. All right. This one says, Steve, they killed my business. But why do you have to get private garbage collection when it's being done privately now? Yeah, well, this was something that I buck up against in renewal of business licenses. One of the things now is that you've got to, all businesses, you've got to go and get a letter from a company. See, they made a lot of companies private, the garbage companies, and you got to go get a letter from them that they will collect your garbage from your business. And I was arguing with them. I said, but I don't sell chicken in the bag. I don't sell any food. I run a radio station. I don't have any garbage to throw out, really. I got some old napkin and thing and some old newspaper, perhaps, but it's not a food thing, because I thought it was like, you can't, And they did the whole 9 yards. That's the new recommendation now. That's the new requirement. And if you don't do it, you don't get your license. And so that's what this person's talking about. This person says, Steve, they killed my business. But why do you have to get a private garbage collection when it's been done privately now? Because, that's the new rule. And that new rule has put some people in business, and it has hurt a lot of businesses. They've got to now wait to see if the good that they're trying to do, it has hurt others who are in business, trying to do business. This one says, so much for a stronger Bahamas, eh? That's what this person says. And the one says, Steve, you're right, because some of them trying to smother the last word on Sunday, but the devil is a lie. This is somebody talking about when I talk about how other big businesses will try to come crushing down. I was basically talking along the lines of commercialization and the business aspect. As far as the last word is concerned, it's the biggest show on radio on Sundays, and it's here to stay. It's 5 years old. And, while some people may not want to appreciate that, the nation and the government and all and sundry listens to the last word on Sunday with Paul Moss, Halson Mutri, Margot Blackwell, Kelvin Cunningham, and, of course, Halson Mutri and myself. And we get together to analyze what is happening in the country from a point of view of trying to help people see that this is what this means and this is what we should be doing. So that's here to stay no matter what. And that's just the way it is. And God has blessed it as he's blessed hard copy. This one says, remember now, Steve, his boy, meaning Tony's boy, Ingram, made it difficult in getting business license now. So he's saying that Ingram did that. And Tony, that's what the person is saying. So I suppose this person's mindset is tit for tat. Don't worry about it, because when you were with Ingram, people had difficulty in getting business license. That's a political statement right there.
Yeah, but I could respond to that very easy. That's why Ingram is out.
And Christie's in, and Christie should move quickly. I always thought that Christie was a fellow who encouraged business. I never saw him personally as a fellow who, as a leader, as a man, despite all that people believe about Christie. I think Christie is one who encourages a lot of business. He always tells people things. I think this is more the system, the system that needs to be researched and revived and renewed and overhauled. I don't know if you can call anyone in government and say, boy, now there may be one or two of them and they're doing some funky stuff, but as far as I'm concerned, I believe that Christie would like to see Bahamian businesses because, Christie want to take that picture with you.
Yeah, true. But I agree. I agree. But Steve, if I may though, I must make this statement relative to the Deputy Prime Minister. He's been trying, and he is the only person who came down to my business. I've had other members of Parliament who came down and have had procedures and had MRIs done.
Is that right?
In my business, yes. And some very, very substantial people came down and had MRIs done at my business. But one in particular is the Deputy Prime Minister, the Honorable Philip Brave Davis. He has shown the interest, and he's come down and he's walked around and taken a look and understood and tried to understand what I am doing and with the expansion, and I must say that that has been a source of encouragement to me from the government standpoint of view. But I mean, not another person that I've invited seen it fit to come down and see what's going on.
This person says, Steve, you are right. I have not renewed my business license this year. Why do I have to run up and down to NIB downtown all around the Mulberry Bush for a business that makes less than $100,000? Shouldn't I just be asked to provide my NIB number and they check this government agency to agency? Well, yeah, that's true, but you got to be organized. The agency's got to be organized. There's a lot of work that's supposed to be done, and the work is tremendous. I'm hoping that somehow somebody takes up this mantle and decide that we're going to make business easy to do in the Bahamas. We're going to encourage businesses. You see, all these people who are looking for jobs in hotels and stuff, if the system allows for them to go and do their thing, man, they'll get it done. There was a lady who was laid off. I talk about it all the time. She was laid off in the hotel, Tony, about 3 years ago, thereabouts, out at Millennium, or Millennia, whatever the name, Malia. And she worked in the housekeeping. Man, she got tired of the nonsense. She'd been in the hotel business all her life. She said, you know what? I started my own business. And she started a business. It's called Made to Shine. She's a maid. and she said she calls the business Made to Shine, MAID to Shine, like how they have Made for a Day.
Fantastic.
And she's been doing a thing. And she works here with our company. I'm one of her clients, this business. So we're helping another Bahamian get in business. And, that lady, Navolia Johnson is her name. It is very important. I try to tell people all the time, and even my business colleagues, use her. She's very, very good. She can get it done, but you got to encourage her. So you see, do you realize what that means if everybody decide, well, okay, that's it. I can do my own thing, or we're going to form a company. Years ago, there's another group that Sun International had working there. Sun also did, Atlantis did a major thing in this country. They were getting ready to get rid of a lot of staff that they didn't need. They were going to contract out the landscaping and all that. Do you know what Atlantis did? Butch Kirsten and them. You know what they did? They hired a group of Bahamian fellas who worked in the hotel. One guy said, man, I don't know what I can do with my money, but I think I can start a landscaping business. And they said, we'll put the guys together. And they've been landscaping Atlantis from then to now.
You sub it out.
Yes. So and they empowered some Bahamians. We have got to encourage our Bahamians when they are laid off to get into business, and the government has got to find a way to give them a safety net of relaxing certain things, even if they give them what you call a permit to do some things for a period till they catch themselves. We got to find some creative ways.
Yes.
Not everybody's going to be able to work in somebody's establishment.
Yes.
But what do I know? Anyhow, this person says, what is it? Steve, I kid you not. A guy that was deported from here. Oh, how am I doing this thing? I messed up my. I ain't technologically savvy like these people these days. I gotta see if I can. There you go. Okay. This person said, I kid you not. A guy that was deported from here, from the United States, laughed at me for waiting 4 months for my business license, when he said all he did was get his NIB letter and pay a guy $350 and wait at home for 3 days. Say, when he tell me that, say, man, I laugh myself. This one says, it happened to my brother for a hotel in Auckland. They did the same thing to him. So I know what Mr. Miller is talking about, is what that person says. So a number of people understand today. And the point is this. It is not from a point of view of trying to embarrass anyone or any government.
No.
It's a point of talking and speaking to the issue that we've got serious problems, man. There are people who want to do things, but we are holding up our people, discouraging them and making them do wicked and corrupt things.
Yeah.
That's why all kind of people got all kind of falsify this and falsify that. The system's supposed to work.
It criminalized some people,
But the system doesn't really work. And I'm hoping that we can get things done. Tony Miller.
But
final words.
Yeah, Steve, let me say I'm so pleased that I came today, and I'm very happy you invited me. And I just want to say that from the system standpoint of view, just as we started many years ago, the one-stop shop for the foreign investor, where he goes and he says these are the amount of people he needs, and then it goes to the immigration and all of these things, and all these things are done as a one-stop shop. Well, then I'm going to suggest that the government may need to take a serious look at starting or recommending through the system of the operation of our country that we start an investment desk for Bahamians. That's so that when Bahamians want to invest, they can go there and to the investment desk, to that office, and all of the things that is supposed to support is made available to a Bahamian. And when he slips, there's something that catches him.
There's a safety net.
Yeah, there's a safety net. And I am suggesting seriously that be considered for Bahamians.
Absolutely.
An investment desk.
I like it. Do you know that the Ministry of Social Services has a safety net for persons who have lost their job? I think any responsible government must look along those lines. Now, of course, there's some right-wingers who decide that if you lose your job, that's your business, you better go find another one. And if we adopt that attitude in government, we would really be up the creek. People have needs, and there are situations and circumstances beyond their control. The government is in the right place of creating a safety net in social services. Melanie Griffin and company doing an extremely good job in that area. But we must be careful at the same time. It has to be a balancing act. In my opinion, we must not be in a position where we are doing that to the point where the person becomes dependent upon that and they lose the spirit of trying to do things for themselves. While the government has a responsibility, they need to balance that with also trying to, in the meantime, while you're down and out, we'll help you here, but this is the other part that we're going to do to lift you back up and get you on your feet. And so that has to be a very balancing act that must be created. And I believe that Melanie Griffith, a very wonderful person, is up to task to do that. And I'm hoping that she's getting the requisite support from the government of the Bahamas in their thinking. You see, we must not take these things for granted. We must think along the lines of what do our people need? But truth to be told, Tony Miller, you've got to first believe that you want to help Bahamians. If you don't believe that yourself, the thought will never cross your mind as to how you can put Bahamians first in actuality.
Yes, and Madam Melanie Griffin is my member of parliament. And I find her to be a credible and a very, very responsible member of parliament. And she has done, I think, remarkable with the department that she heads now, and I really
it's a whole ministry now, social services.
Yes. I mean,
and it grew from a department to a ministry, which tells you that there's need.
Yes,
there is need, and so we wish them all the best. Anyway, Tony Miller, listen, I know that you're going to be fine. I have a good feeling about it, and I believe today in talking about it,
I won't give up.
May open some other doors for people to say, well, let's see how we can correct that, because I like to follow up and say, hey, guess what? Tony Miller got it corrected, and we are in business, and Bahamians don't have to go anyplace else other than out to Soundly Port and get things done in the field of MIR and PET in cancer treatment and cancer detection, and then we can be on the right road of, breaking some new ground, a pioneer in this thing.
Yes, and not only for me, but all the persons who are having similar experiences that I've been having. I hope that I would have create an avenue for them, hopefully that they can be sorted out and be on the way and doing business and helping to develop this country.
Tony Miller with us tonight on Hard Copy. We hope that you've enjoyed it. It is one of significance in that we're beginning to talk about these things that plague us and getting away from just sheer politics. There are many things that plague us. There are high prices that plague us. There is poor business practices that plague us. There's poor practice in the government agencies that plague us. There are poor attitudes in service that plague us. We've got to get it together, friends, because other people are coming along, especially in tourism. And later on this week, I'm going to have Romeo Farrington and another young Bahamian on Friday talking about the idea of rekindling the spirit of entrepreneurship in the nightclub and entertainment business. Every other country has it. We don't have it. Cuba is opening up. For sure, it's going to be a consideration for the Bahamas to compete with them, even though we say that ain't about us right now. Just the mystique alone, and the actual place that, that's been closed for so long, people are going to want to go there. And if they go there and they get the review that they have at the Tropicana and all that thing, when they come to the Bahamas, it must never, ever be said that they have no nightlife. Where are the nightclubs? Where's the limbo stick? Where's the fire dance? That's another area where we can employ a number of Bahamians who are skilled in these things. But if they have no place to work and no place to go, they have no jobs and no careers. This is a part of our culture problem. We've got to shift and make a paradigm shift. And I'm hoping today is the beginning of that. So on Friday, you want to be a part of that as well, because we're going to explore what we should be doing from a cultural point of view to build our country as well, not only in just business like Tony and other businesses that we see, but in an area where we are so gifted, yet we're not capitalizing. That's our show for tonight. We hope that you've enjoyed it. Let's go home, Nate. Irvin. By the way, Irvin is having a birthday today. And if he don't bring you any cake, Mom, that means he wasn't to work today, because he got lots of cakes and treats here at Peace. We take good care of our people. And Irvin was eating cake and cupcake and all kind of things all day. You see him look like he's sleeping? Yeah, he doesn't eat all that stuff now. Mommy, when Irvin come home tonight, if you don't bring you no cake, you let me know. The Bank of the Bahamas, our sponsors today, BTC Every Day, Super Value, the All Bahamian Supermarkets. By the way, at BTC, if you pay your phone bill now, you'll get a phone card between now and the end of this month. Go and pay your phone bill and get some free phone cards, get some free minutes at any BTC store. Super Value, the All Bahamian Supermarkets, McKinney Media Group, for effective PR concepts and advertisement. Island-made products made especially for you. The Ministry of Tourism, get ready for Gombe Summer and Junkanoo Summer. We're going to have Gombe and Junkanoo. Gombe on Friday nights and Junkanoo on Saturday nights or something like that. Anyhow, it's going to be happening. Just keep listening to us. AML Foods, Solomon's Fresh Market in Cartwright. Shop there. $30,000 in trips and vacation you can win. Caribbean cruise, all kinds of stuff. Man, Owen Burrows and those guys are outdoing themselves at AML Foods. Advantage Insurance and Brokers, 61 Collins Avenue. For the best insurance of your lifetime, go to Advantage. Super Wash, 11 locations to serve you. Ron's Electric Motors, Sky Bahamas, Randy Butler and Company, professionals in every way, every day, flying the friendly skies. Galena Financial Advisors Limited, check Tony Ferguson and them. They know what they're doing with pensions and of course, savings and annuities. Also, Executive Printers, Henry F. Store, the Light People on Mackie Street, and the Blue Ultra Pro
This
Drinking
is Peace Radio After Dark.
Dan 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 dan. Shooby dooby dooby da dam dam dam. Let's examine the story of a legend who left us on the wings of a dove. He made his debut in Bahamian history with a hit song called Lost Love. He entertained his people he so loved, represented them both near and far. His friends referred to him affectionately as Mr. La-di-da. His name was Sonny, everybody's buddy, a Bahamian superstar. They called him Mr. La-di-da. Sonny was everybody's buddy, a Bahamian superstar. They called him Mr. La-di-da. Dan 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 dan. Shooby dooby dooby da dam dam dam. He went searching for a friend in Nassau. He searched but to no avail. Then an old lady said to him, Sonny J, he's in Freeport or he's in jail. He had a smile for everybody, a voice as clear as day. They came from near and far to hear him say, I did it my way. Sonny was everybody's buddy, a Bahamian superstar. They called him Mr. La-di-da. Sonny was everybody's buddy, a Bahamian superstar. They called him Mr. La-di-da. Dan 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 dan. Shooby dooby dooby da dam 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 dam. He left us in 1993, left behind a great legacy. Well-wishers came from far to say goodbye to a superstar. Being around him was lots of fun, but he's gone to join the great ones, like blind Big George Simonette and the great Charlie Adamson. His name was Sonny, everybody's buddy, a Bahamian superstar. They called him Mr. La-di-da. Sonny was everybody's buddy, a Bahamian superstar. They called him Mr. La-di-da. Dan 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 dam dam. Shooby dooby dooby da dam 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 dam. Dan 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 dam dam. Shooby dooby dooby da dam dam dam. Dan 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 dam. Shooby dooby dooby da dam dam. Dam be dam be dam be, dan 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 be dam be, shooby dooby dooby da dam be dam be, dam be dam be dam be, dan 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 dan.
Life's hectic. You gotta have peace. 107.5 FM.
I'm tired of playing on the team. Ooh, it seems I don't get time out anymore. Oh, what a change if we set the pace face to face. No one even tried to score. Oh, and I can feel the magic of your touch. And when you move it close a little bit means so much. Oh yeah, you got to understand, baby. Time out is what I'm here for. Oh, I wanna play that game tonight. One-on-one, I know. I wanna play that one-on-one. I wanna play that game tonight. One-on-one, so slow. Ooh, you can't tell me you don't miss me, girl. No, I think I might know you too well. Oh, I wonder what you'd say if you knew that I was coming tonight. I want you, can't you tell? Ooh, one-on-one, I wanna play that game tonight. One-on-one, I know. I wanna play that one-on-one. I wanna play that game tonight. One-on-one, so slow. Ooh, that's all you need to know now. But if it's really right, there's nothing else. I wanna play that game tonight. Ooh, one-on-one, I wanna play that game tonight. Ooh, one-on-one, I wanna play that game tonight. One-on-one, I wanna play that game. On one, girl. Oh, there's nothing else but you and me. I don't want no one else. I don't want no one else. Oh, baby, I'm tired of playing. I'm tired of playing. Oh, I don't want to play those games no more. No more. I want to play with you, girl. I want to play with you, girl. Just you and me. You and me. You and me.
Got off the plane where they say it don't rain. Thought to myself, this is for me. Ooh, looked all around in everywhere. The streets were empty. Oh, checked in the hotel to unpack my things. Gotta get out, buy some company, and then it hit me. Ooh, don't know if we're ready. I heard somebody say in Hollywood they do things a different way. Don't you be caught cruising on a sunny day. 'Cause nobody walks in LA. Nobody walks in LA.
I had some dreams. I was gonna crack the scene. Thought anywhere I could survive. That there must be a special place where the beautiful people hide. I began to wonder what was I doing wrong. Had to dig it out intelligently. Then it hit me.
Don't know if I'm ready. I heard somebody say in Hollywood they do things a different way. Don't you be caught cruising on a sunny day.
'Cause nobody walks in LA.
Nobody walks. I've been around and I like New York and Chinatown. The rivers of people seem to flow.
Being here under the sky so blue. What do you do? What do you do?
Ooh, I've been around and I don't understand this town. You got to know somebody.
If you're not a big star, you won't be missed. But the most important role, no matter what games they play,
oh, baby, don't know if I'm ready. I heard somebody say in Hollywood they do things a different way. Don't you be caught cruising on a sunny day. Nobody walks in LA. Nobody walks in LA. Don't matter, baby. I heard somebody say in Hollywood we do things a different way. Don't you be caught cruising on a sunny day. Nobody walks in LA. Nobody walks in LA. Don't know where to go. I heard somebody say in Hollywood they do things a different way. Don't you be caught cruising on a sunny day. Nobody walks in LA. Nobody walks in LA. Nobody. Don't know already. I heard somebody say in Hollywood the things are getting way. Don't you be caught cruising on a sunny day.
nobody walks in LA.
Nobody walks in LA.
Fort Charlotte's very own Peace 107.5 FM, the air of success.
Ever since I met you, seems I can't forget you. The thought of you keeps running through the back of my mind. Every time I'm near you, I get that urge to feel you. Just touching you and loving you makes everything right. Tell me how you feel, baby. Never knew love before. Then came you. Then came you. I never knew love before. Then came you. Then came you. You. Now that I have found you, how did I live without you? I don't know, baby. Plain to see, you're all I need to satisfy me. I'm so darn proud of you. I wanna sing about you. Sing it, sing it, sing it, baby. You made the road by touching my head. Oh, I never knew love before. Then came you, then came you. I never knew love before. Then came you, then came you. Hey, then came you.
More refreshing music coming up.
This and every Friday at 12 noon, the Ministry of Tourism presents Let's Make It Happen, a domestic tourism initiative that features and highlights the crown jewels of the Bahamas, the Bahamian people. Friendly, enterprising, creative, dedicated, and serious about the well-being of the #1 industry, tourism. Let's make it happen. The new season, 12 noon, this and every Friday on Peace 107.5 FM and affiliate stations of the MBN network.
Executive Printers. We're professionals. At Executive Printers, we do not participate in trash talk. We concern ourselves with the accuracy and security of your laser check. That is why we put 15, yes, 15 securities on your laser checks. This is not trash. This is fact. It makes fraud almost impossible. Call us today at Executive Printers at 393-5011 or email us at sales@epbahamas.com. That's sales@epbahamas.com. Executive printers, laser checks. We do them right.
Peace 107.5 FM, the air of success.
We gotta have peace to keep the world alive and war to cease.
Peace and tranquility in the nighttime on Peace 107.5 FM.
Well, baby, oh baby, my baby, yeah. Girl, I can't wait to come home to you. Can't concentrate on my job, 'cause I'm in the mood. See, lately I've had a one-track mind. See, it's you and you again. Friends think I'm wasting my time. No, I've always been that kind of man, in control of my life. But girl, ever since you came around, see, I want to take care of you and make you my wife. It must be that you do, that voodoo that keeps me loving you. All right, I gotta say, I like it, baby. I like it, baby. That voodoo that you do, only you that keeps me loving you. So in love now, I gotta say, I like it, baby. Right. See, my friends, see, they call me on the phone. Say, Teddy, say, let's go out. Do you want to play? But I find myself spend all my time with you, and I don't even care what they're talking about. You know, something strange is taking over me. Baby, I really like it, yeah. See, I've never felt this way before. Girl, that's for sure. And I don't want no cure. Oh, it must be that voodoo that you do. It keeps me loving you. Keeps me so in love. I gotta say, I like it, baby. Said I love it. I love it. Voodoo that you do. The voodoo that keeps me loving you. All right. I gotta tell you, girl, I like it, baby. Do to me what you did last night. Come on. love with you. Girl, I like you, baby, baby. All right. It's me. Sometimes your love just makes me wanna scream, wanna say, oh, 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 oh. I like you, baby. Keep on doing what you do, baby. The way you lay your loving on me,
the things you do to me, the way you make me feel, I swear I just can't explain. You know, I've always thought that I was the baddest man in town. You know, I find myself not wanting to be with nobody but you. Girl, I don't know what it is you've got, but whatever it is, I sure like it a lot.
Oh, girl, come on and teach me what you did last night. I like you, baby. I love you, baby. It's kind of big. What you do. It's me. So in love with you, girl. I gotta tell you, I like you, baby. Said I love it, I love it, child.
Looking out on the morning rain, I used to feel so uninspired. And when I knew I had to face another day, Lord, it made me feel so tired. Before the day I met you, life was so unkind. You're the key to my peace of mind. 'Cause you make me feel, you make me feel, you make me feel like a natural woman. When my soul was in the lost and found, you came along to claim it. I didn't know just what was wrong with me until your kiss helped me name it. Now I'm no longer doubtful of what I'm living for. And if I make you happy, I don't need to do more. 'Cause you make me feel, you make me feel, you make me feel like a natural woman. Oh, baby, what you've done to me, what you've done to me. You make me feel so good inside, good inside. And I just wanna be close to you. You make me feel so alive. You make me feel, you make me feel, you make me feel like a natural woman. You make me feel, you make me feel, you make me feel like a natural woman. morning. Sweet love, I love you. Sweet love, me love. If there's a cure for this, I don't want it. I don't want it. No, I don't want it. If there's cure for this, no, I don't need it.
More refreshing music coming up.
Hello, I'm Virginia Smith, inviting you to join me in the midday from 11 to 2 for the Peace and Tranquility Midday Drive on Peace 107.5. Come, let's share nostalgic moments, flashbacks, inspirational tidbits, as well as current affairs and events, and the list goes on. So please join me Monday through Friday on Peace 107.5.
AML Foods, Solomon's, Cartwright, and Fresh Market have teamed up to give shoppers the biggest opportunity ever to travel the world. Shop Solomon's, Cartwright, and Fresh Market in Nassau and Freeport and enter to win over $30,000 in trips during the travel extravaganza. Purchase these brands: Shaman, Robin Hood, McVitie's, Pepperidge Farm, Vitamalt, Livy's, Sun Supreme, Coca-Cola, Bluebird, Mahatma, Hellman's, Cloric Flash, Pedigree, Suave, and Joy. Buy any four in a single purchase and win over $30,000 in trips and vacations. Shop Solomon's, Cartwright, and Fresh Markets and win big.
Ready to buy your own home? Join us at RBC Finco's free mortgage advice event, Wednesday, June 24th at our Carmichael Road branch. From 6 to 8 p.m., our mortgage specialist will guide you through the home buying process and offer special benefits including free legal advice, a first-time home buyer's guide, and automatic entry for prizes. That's free mortgage advice at RBC Finco Carmichael, Wednesday, June 24th. RBC
107.5 FM, the air of success.
We gotta have peace to keep the world alive and war to cease.
Peace and happiness every day, all day on Peace 107.5 FM.
Well. Drifting on a memory. Ain't no place I'd rather be than with you. Yeah, loving you. Well. Day will make a way for night. All we'll need is candlelight and a song. Yeah, soft and long. Well, glad to be here alone with a lover unlike no other. Sad to see a new horizon slowly coming into view. Yeah, I wanna be living for the love of you. Oh,
yes, I am. All that I'm giving is for the love of you. All right now. Lovely as a ray of sun that touches me when the morning comes, feels good to me. Yeah, my love and me. Well, smoother than a gentle breeze, flowing through my mind with ease.